One of the drivers we did not mention, Chuck Christian out of Eugene, Redwood, Northwest, Collins, One Stop Bird Shop, Lander King Custom Woodworking, in loving memory of Carol J. Bango, Weston Auction, Eugene Gutter Service, Camus Landscaping, Weston Performance, Blue Feather, In Home Care, GRT.
Coming into us, your pole sitter for that one, going to be Brian Norton from Staten, Oregon.
So quick correction, there's going to be 2 heat races for the CDA late models, so my apologies. Both these are going to be 8 laps in distance. Joey Tanner on the pole, Jason Dubert, or Miles Dubert, pardon me, will be outside front row. Trent Elliott starts 3rd, Richard Wallace 4th, and Chris Biggs lines up in 5th. Still 8 laps. Originally, there was supposed to be just a single CDA late model heat race, but it was grown into 2. I think Chuck Christian, the 42-2, is actually in heat race number 2. Yep, and getting the signal. And he is exiting off the racetrack. So Joey Tanner in the Mitchell family-owned number 18, sharing the front row with Miles Dubert in the Dave Foote-owned number 75. Trent Elliott in the 4E. 2019 champion here, won the Cottonwood Classic. Finds himself lining up in 3rd.
If you came here for the late models, let everybody know. Give it to them.
Richard Wallace and Chris Biggs, rest of the restart or the original starting order. 5 cars, 8 laps. Heat race number 1 of 2 for the CDA late models is underway. Good start for the 18 of Joey Tanner as he gets in front of the 75 of Miles Dubert. Good battle for 3rd. Trent Elliott on the inside of Richard Wallace in the 7W. Chris Biggs rounds up the running order in 5th in car number 20. Lap number 1, Joey Tanner shows the way. Joey Tanner, winner of the season opener here a couple weeks ago. Already 2 wins in the 2021 campaign. 1 win here, 1 win up at Cottage Grove Speedway. 75 of Miles Dubert looking to make it side by side for the race lead here on lap number 2, but it's still Joey Tanner, your leader. Trent Elliott continues to reside in 3rd. Richard Wallace 4th. Chris Biggs is 5th. Again, Miles Dubert in the blue and white 75 looking to pitch it to the inside of Joey Tanner, but Joey Tanner keeps him in check, and Joey Tanner now extends his race lead over 2nd place Miles Dubert. Spreading out a little bit, your front 3 cars. Joey Tanner paces the field. In 2nd, the 75 of Miles Dubert. Trent Elliott is 3rd. Richard Wallace 4th. Chris Biggs holding down position 5. Lap count continues to get worked down as Chris Biggs will pull off of the racetrack, and Joey Tanner continues his dominance here in heat race number 1 of 2 for the CDA late. Miles Dubert currently your runner-up. Trent Elliott 3rd, and Richard Wallace is 4th. The Just a couple laps to go for your race leader, Joey Tanner. In fact, he's going to see the white flag this time past the flag stand. Joey Tanner has a healthy lead of 4.261 seconds as we look at the My Race Pass app scoring system. And your winner of heat race number 1 is going to be Joey Tanner out of Portland. Miles Dubert finishes second. Third will be Trent Elliott. Fourth, Richard Wallace. And so Joey Tanner and the Ray Mitchell and family-owned number 18 will win heat race number 1 of 2 for your CDA late models here of Southern Oregon Speedway. 2018 Willamette Speedway late model champion, also 2019 champion up there in Lebanon. Former Tidal Wave 50 winner at Coos Bay Speedway, won the Cottage Grove Speedway's Loggers Cup in 2017, the 2016 I-5 late model series, and former Fall Classic winner on the pavement at Yakima Speedway. Also some big wins to his credit, the Strawberry Cup and the Clare Cup at Willamette Speedway and the Doug Walters Classic at Sunset Speedway Park. Heat race number 2 for your CDA late models looks like this. The Dale's Auto Body, Bear Creek Pizza and Pub, MS Shock Therapy, graphics by Aggressive, number 7 out of Jefferson, running a Track Star chassis, Brian Norton. Outside of Norton, the 88 from the Coastal City Abandoned, Kinware Chevrolet, Canada Coffee, Outdoor Living and Rental Center, Napier Auto Body, Coos County Supply, the Sign Factory, Fugate Farms, Black Diamond Chassis, Braden Fugate. Row 2 inside, the 42-2, Chuck Christian out of Eugene, the late arrival, the Redwood Northwest, Colleen's One Stop Bird Shop, Lander King Custom Woodworking, racing in loving memory of Carolyn J. Bango, Weston Auction, Eugene Gutter Service, Camus Landscaping, Weston Performance, Blue Feather In-Home Care, GRT. Fourth on the grid, Bob Dees out of Rogue River, Dick's Towing, Dees Nuts Racing, Showtime Graphics and Apparel, Masters Built Chassis. And last but not least, the 42-2 of Chuck Christian will line up. Yes, he will line up third. There's the 42-2, and we've got the 42. That is John David Duffier out of Sam's Valley, C-Day Architects, Calculated Comfort, Connie Meyer Duffier with Remax Real Estate Brokering, Masters Built Chassis, and I believe Duffier will be 5th in the starting lineup. He's in that white and blue 42, while the black, white, and red trimmed 42-2 of Chuck Christian
IMCA Sport Modifieds back out here on the track to give you some high-octane thrill racing.
Is also part of this one, so a little bit of a challenge for announcers and scorers alike. So it'll be Christian lining up P5 and P3, John David Duffier.
Also want to remind you folks that
set to go green here shortly.
50-50
Brian Norton from Jefferson near the state capital of Salem, and Braden Fugate, former Sportsman Track champion at Coos Bay Speedway. They share the front row. Final heat race for the CDA late models. Then we're going to transition to the Dusty Transmissions IMCA Northern Sport Mods. That'll be coming up after this first of 3 heat races for them. 22 entries signed in on the registration sheets for that division, and their third race of 2021 here at Southern Oregon Speedway in White City. Brian Norton, Braden Fugate set to go green, exiting turn number 4. This time by, they will receive the green flag, and this one will get started. Brian Norton on the inside trying to grab the advantage against Braden Fugate. Fugate in the 88 holding strong to his outside. Bob Dees is third in the orange and white number 6, and your leader of lap number 1 will be Brian Norton, but he is just trying to stay out in front of both Dees and Fugate, managing successfully to keep in front of those 2 cars behind him, and nearly 3 wide for second is John David Duffier to the inside of Bob Dees and almost underneath the 88 of Braden Fugate. Fugate and Dees continue to fight over for position number 2. As Dees in the 6 now, count him as your current runner-up. The 7 of Brian Norton, winner of Madras Speedway a couple weeks ago in Central Oregon. Outpacing the field here, Braden Fugate slips underneath Bob Dees to move back into second. 3 laps laps complete. 5 laps to go for Brian Norton. Braden Fugate second. Bob Deese is third. Then it's John David Dufier. And Chuck Christian is fifth. As John David Dufier to the inside of Bob Deese, trying to move up to P3. It's Deese up top. Dufier down low. Dufier to third. Braden Fugate trying to get in a good rhythm and chase down your leader, Brian Norton. Norton has a little bit of a healthy lead. Last trip by the flag stand, it was over a second. Now he is cruising around with the luxury of 0.476 seconds. So Braden Fugate effectively cutting into the distance between your top 2 cars. John David Dufier has secured third and is trying to leave into the dust the 6 of Bob Deese, but Deese not quite going away just yet. Chuck Christian remains in 5th as we've got a challenge for the race lead. Braden Fugate will just simply navigate on the bottom of the racing surface and get in front of your leader, Brian Norton, as we're going to see the white flag come out here this time by. One more trip around the park for Braden Fugate. Patience pulling off for the kid in the number 88, the teenager out of Bandon. Braden Fugate will be your winner of heat race number 2 for the CDA late models. In second, Brian Norton. The fight for third will end with John David Dufier beating out Bob Deese for third, as unfortunately the 42-2 Chuck Christian spinning
in that 42 squared.
As we move into our first of 3 heat races for your Dusty's Transmissions IMC Northern Sport Mods. Heat race number 1 lines up like this. It's Tyler Rogers out of Chico, California, the Kevin's Auto and Fleet Service, Tahoe Pure Water Company, top-notch cleaning services, Superior Fuel Cells. Special thanks to Uncle Nick, Uncle Matt, Uncle Tim, and Aunt Tony, running an Evolution by Twisted chassis. Outside of him, another young gun, the 21P of Ryan Peary out of Wairika, California, A&J Farms, Blue Frog Realty, Paradise Painting, LB Hamilton Cattle Ranch, Finley Farms, Dennis Peary Trucking, PCD Race Cars, Rap Racing Enterprises, Dressler Heating and Cooling, PCD. Row 2 inside the 7W, that's Wyatt Westfall, and the Jonky Heating and Air Conditioning, Affordable, Royal Flush, Big Time Repair and Shine, Riverside Diesel Incorporated, Jackson Creek Pizza, Tamara Rogers, Willamette Valley Bank, J. Rich Chassis, Gentle Hands Adult Foster Care, 7W from Medford. Lining up in 4th, it's going to be the other 7, the 7S from Brookings, Steven Sanders and his Brookings class, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, In Motion Graphics and Designs, Les Schwab Tire Center, Brookings Top Gear, Transmissions, Arneson Engines, State Farm Insurance of Brookings, SRP Chassis. Lining up in 5th will be the 12i, also out of Brookings, that is Isaac Sanders. Isaac Sanders, same sponsorships. Also want to thank Slingshot Performance and Folks Racing Equipment. Running a jet chassis, Isaac Sanders. The 14 junior, that's Billy Ritchie from Central Point. Jonky Heating and Air Conditioning, the Kinzer family, Team Case at Guild Mortgage. Hoppus Motorsports, Dardanelles Community Store, J. Rich Chassis, Anderson Irrigation, Quality Tire, D-Ray Designs, Linvig Machine, Rap Racing Enterprises, Ryan Meisner, Remax Realty, Andrew Bursch's at Country Financial, Big Time Repair and Shine, Acme Fire and Safety, Hunter Industries, J. Rich Chassis. It looks like we are set to go green this time by Jesse Merriman and Chance Gordon. The rest of your starters in heat race number 1 of 3 for your Dusty's Transmissions IMC Northern Sport Mods. Tyler Rogers and Ryan Peary on the front row. They battle it out here on this opening start. It was Rogers starting on the inside pole. Now he finds himself on the outside trying to keep back the 21P of Ryan Peary. These 2 drivers have been some of the young sensations in Northern California, finding victories at Siskiyou Golden Speedway, American Valley Speedway, and Diamond Mountain Speedway. Looking for success here tonight at Southern Oregon Speedway as Tyler Rogers continues to pace the field. It's Ryan Peary in second, Steven Sanders in the 7S trying to keep back the 7W, Wyatt Westfall for third. Billy Ritchie is 5th, and it's Isaac Sanders in 5th. Then you've got the 11J, Jesse Merriman. The Blue Dog RV, American Iron, Preferred Plumbing, J&J Motorsports, SC Images, Bright Racing, Central Equipment, Dirt Signs and Graphics. Special thanks to Travis, Stuart Burns, and George LaRoe. Evolution Chassis from Central Point. And the 18C of Chance Gordon, 18G, pardon me, from Eagle Point, and the Dean's Diesel Repair, Modern Electric, Quality Fence, 4 Shades of Summer, TA Custom Golf, Harris Chassis. This one continues to stay green as we're halfway home. 4 down and 4 to go. Chance Gordon, some sort of issue, and he will pull off the racetrack as Billy Ritchie spins in turn number 2. And we're going to see possibly our first yellow of the night. No, Ritchie keeps the wheels a-turning because remember, it is one and done in these heat races. So very important to try your very best to keep yourself in a competitive posture. As if you're the cause of the caution, you're done for the race. Tyler Rogers and Ryan Peary lead Steven Sanders, Wyatt Westfall, and Isaac Sanders as far as the top 5 is concerned. 2 kids from California have a bit of a gap between second and third place. In fact, over 2.5 seconds the distance between second and third. Tyler Rogers in car number 44 is just 1 lap to finish the field off and pick up the win in heat race number 1 of 3 for the Dusty's Transmissions IMC Northern Sport Mods, and he will win it. Ryan Peary finishes second. Steven Sanders will come home in third. Fourth at the line will be Wyatt Westfall, then Isaac Sanders and Jesse Merriman will be your lead lap finishers. Billy Ritchie will be credited with 7th and Chance Gordon in 8th. Heat race number 2 of 3 for the Dusty's Transmissions IMC Northern Sport Mods. Travis Peary out of Wairika, California. That's Ryan Peary's father. A&J Farms, Blue Frog Realty, Paradise Painting, LB Hamilton Cattle Ranch, Finley Farms, Dennis Peary Trucking, PCD Race Cars, Wrap Racing Enterprises, Dressler Heating and Cooling PCD. He starts inside pole. Dustin Comer outside of him in the Shockwave Shock Service, Cutting Edge Concrete Cutting, Coburg Distillery, Team SDMF, Anderson Erosion Control, Shaw by SDMF Chassis from Springfield. Mike Medell, former track champion here from Medford, and the Icon Loeb Lawn Care and Cleaning, Rogue Boiler Works, Southern Oregon Archery, Sisu Salon, D-Ray Designs, Bob Thomas Automotive, Wrap Racing Engines, Shaw by Ryland Chassis, lines up in position number 3. Fourth is Rich McCoy out of Central Point, the Automotion, Wrap Racing Enterprises, Road Karting, Pacific Crest Auto Sales, Home Built Chassis. Lining up 5th, it'll be Matt Sanders from Brookings and the Brookings Glass, O'Reilly's Auto Parts of Central Point, Slingshot Performance, Folks Racing Equipment, In Motion Graphics and Designs, Les Schwab Tire Center of Brookings, Top Gear Transmissions, Harness and Engines, State Farm Insurance of Brookings Jet Chassis. 6th, it'll be 5th row outside, the Triple Nickel of Joby Shields out of Gold Hill, Just in Time Appliance Repair, Reps for Vets Apparel, J&J Motorsports, SOS Alarm Company, Dirt Signs and Graphics, SC Images Harris, as we're set to go green next time by. Last but not least, the 25P of Braxton Passenger and his Junkie Heating and Air Conditioning, Innovative Home Design, the Honky Tonk Saloon, Rogue Tattoo, Big Time Repair and Shine, Gentle Hands, Foster Home. Special thanks to Dad as well as the Ritchie family running a Shaw chassis. That is Braxton Passenger. 7 cars going 8 laps. Heat race number 2 of 3 for your Dusty's Transmissions IMC Northern Sport Mods is set to go green this time by California and Oregon on the front row. Travis Peary, former modified champion here back in 2010. Dustin Comer, second in Camp J Performance, Oregon State points to his outside. Here we go. Travis Peary, no stranger to Southern Oregon Speedway success, is going to beat out Dustin Comer in the first set of turns, but here comes Comer with a slingshot maneuver to the inside of Peary. Dustin Comer, a little bit of a slider, a little bit of contact as Dustin Comer's Claymaker will keep him out in front. Dustin Comer leads lap number 1. It is Travis Peary in second, Mike Medell third, Rich McCoy fourth, Matt Sanders in fifth. Sanders to the outside of Rich McCoy to move into P4, at least attempting to do so, as Rich McCoy thirsty for third, trying to get by Mike Medell, and my goodness, what a scramble for P3. Behind them, it's Braxton Passenger and Joby Shields in 6th and 7th, as we've got a battle for the race lead. Travis Peary right on the rear bumper, looking for the trunk keys of the 26 of Dustin Comer and trying to pop the lid and get around car number 26. Dustin Comer, Travis Peary, Mike Medell, Rich McCoy, and Matt Sanders. Your running orders: Braxton Passenger off the pace will pull off the racetrack, and Travis Peary all over Dustin Comer for position number 1. 4 down and 4 to go, and it will be Travis Peary beating out Dustin Comer by a mere 0.007 seconds. It's a Travis Peary with a James Bond 007 move is able to be your second race leader in this second heat race for the Dusty's Transmissions IMC Northern Sport Mods. Now Travis Peary starting to pedal away from Dustin Comer. As Comer remains running in second. Mike Medell is third. Fourth is Matt Sanders. Rich McCoy fifth. Joby Shields is sixth. As we are 2 laps away from the conclusion of heat race number 2 of the Dusty's Transmissions IMC Northern Sport Mods. Mike Medell now, a lot of speed from the 30M. 2-time track champion Mike Medell makes it past Dustin Comer for second. White flag is out. One more trip around the speedway for Travis Peary. Is the 2-time Southern Oregon Speedway IMC Northern Sport Mod and 2015 KMJ Performance Oregon State Champion Mike Medell solidly in second. And the checkered flag will drop. It is going to be the 21 TP of Travis Peary out of Wairika, California, winning it. Mike Medell finishes second. Dustin Comer third. Matt Sanders will be finishing fourth. Rich McCoy and Joby Shields, not sure what happened there. Those are 5th and 6th place cars. I think they're still actually racing for the positions when they come out of turn 4, and it looks like it's going to be Shields with the advantage over McCoy. Final heat race for the Dusty's Transmissions, IMCA Northern Sport Mods, the Quinch and Drench Car Wash, Miller Paint Company, Don Broughton Painting, Rogers Racing Engines, Cloud Maintenance and Irrigation, 84 Razor from Central Point, Jordan Broughton outside of Broughton, car number 5, Nick Berryhill from Central Point as well, Fred's Rod Shop, The Grow, Doghouse Racing, Z-Day Construction, Trail Tough, Suzuki Stuff, Shaw Chassis, Dwayne Melvin in car number 69 in his Hoppus Motorsports, Gageit Construction, Dusty's Transmissions, BRN Trucking, Central Welding Supply, Rayburn Chassis will line up in third. Outside him in fourth, the 12W, that's Brandon Wilson out of Medford in his Rogue Tattoo, Cintas Uniform Services, Dirt Collective Apparel, Walker Racing Development, Apply Flooring, Big Time Repair and Shine, 106 Motorsports, Medford Radiator, Peabody Sheet Metal, Rap Racing Enterprises, Oregon Light and RV, Bryant Mead Trucking BMS. Going to row number 3 inside the 08 of Ryder Boswell from Wairika and the Blissful Moments Photography, Wairika Auto Parts, CarQuest Auto Parts. Special thanks to Mom and Dad, Brent and David Bunt. And that's an Evolution by J. Rich Chassis, lining up 7th and 4th row outside. It'll be car 4B, gridding up in position number 8. Great to see this guy out and racing in this division. The TMP Oilfield Services, Jeff Rose Grill, All-American Masonry Jet Chassis from Central Point, Bartley Foster, and the 7-7 out of Medford, Jansen Nips. Jansen Nips running a GRT in that white 7-7. 7 cars going 8 laps in distance for their third and final heat race for the Dusty's Transmissions IMC Northern Sport Mods. Jordan Broughton has won this race twice. In fact, the most recent winner in 2019, did it first in 2017 when I say about the Roger Hodden Shield tribute. 3-time track champion, most recent 2019, then went back-to-back in 2014, 2015, and he is a 4-time KMJ Performance Oregon State champion, winning titles in 2014, 2016, and back-to-back in 2018 and 2019. Mike Medell, a 1-time KMJ Performance Oregon State champion, winning that title, as we mentioned, in the last heat race in 2015. Jason Nelson getting the job in 2017, and Doug Kaufman winning the most recent KMJ Performance Oregon State Championship. That was last year. After this, we've got 3 Sweet Tea IMCA modified heat races, 8 laps in distance for those as well. And just carving through these heats is Jordan Broughton and Nick Berryhill, your front row starters, about to get the field underway. Dwayne Melvin, he is a 2-time track champion, winning titles before the Speedway Motors IMCA weekly racing program, sanctioning in 2012 and 2013 for this division. Jordan Broughton already 5 main event wins in 2021 to his credit, 2 here at Southern Oregon Speedway, 2 at Siskiyou Golden Speedway in Wairika, and 1 at Cottage Grove Speedway. So far in 2021, pulling up the statistics, 5 wins and 8 starts for Jordan Broughton. Has only finished outside the top 10 once, and he has an average finish of 2.87 as far as positions are concerned, so pretty much third each and every time. It looks like wasn't in the lineup for this heat race. The 42, Jacob Hoppus from Eagle Point, Hoppus Motorsports, GFAB Fabrication, Fashion Floors, Decal Din, Dirtworks Chassis. Nick Berryhill, the debutant in his debut season in this division, has 3 starts so far this year, 1 here and 2 at Siskiyou Golden Speedway. His average finish so far this season, 14th, looking to improve that here this weekend for the Roger Hodden Shield Tribute. And Ryder Boswell in the 08 off the track. He was scheduled to start in 7th. Or pardon me, 5th. We'll see if he can rejoin, as it looks like they've sent him towards the staging area, and that is what we're waiting on. All right, Boswell is able to make it back out. Always great to see the Boswell family. Colt and Ryder Boswell, a couple of regular racers in this IMC Northern Sport Mod division, primarily at Siskiyou Golden Speedway. In fact, Colt winning the track championship in 2015 down there in Wairika, just across the border, about an hour or so away from here. Jordan Broughton and Nick Berryhill, yet again your front row, set to go green when they exit turn number 4. Heat race number 3, the final heat race for the Dusty's Transmissions IMC Northern Sport Mods is underway. Jordan Broughton, an excellent start over Nick Berryhill. He's able to move himself in front of the number 5, and now Dwayne Melvin follows suit, utilizing the bottom. Dwayne Melvin moves up to 2nd, although Nick Berryhill in car number 5 is not going to make it easy for Melvin to possess 2nd. Berryhill wants it back. Melvin currently holds on to it. Brandon Wilson is 4th, and it's a fight for 5th between Jansen Nips and the 7-7 and the 08 of Ryder Boswell. Nips looking to move forward in the top 5 in car number 7, 3 wide for position number 4, as it's Jansen Nips with the advantage over both Brandon Wilson and Ryder Boswell. Just as I say that, a brilliant move by the 12W of Brandon Wilson. He's able to move back into 4th. Here comes Ryder Boswell, negotiating the inside of the racetrack, side by side with the 7-7 of Jansen Nips. Jordan Broughton is the race leader. As we're a lap away from the halfway mark, lots of smoke starting to pour out of the 5 of Nick Berryhill. Some sort of issue with Berryhill, as it's Dwayne Melvin holding on to 2nd. Brandon Wilson moves up to 3rd as the smoking Nick Berryhill just trying to hold on to 4th. He has both Jansen Nips and Ryder Boswell right behind him. Bartley Foster rounding up the rest of the running order in car number 4B. Jacob Hoppus, pardon me, last car in the running order in car number 42, is put a lap down courtesy of Jordan Broughton. As we are 2 away from the checkered flag, courtesy of Jordan Broughton in car number 84. Dwayne Melvin 2nd, 3rd is Brandon Wilson, as this fight for 4th could go either way. Nick Berryhill, Ryder Boswell, and Jansen Nips. It's been narrowed down to just a 2-car race, as it's Boswell again taking a glimpse to the inside of Nick Berryhill. White flag in the air, final lap of action and final lap of contention for 4th, as Jordan Broughton will win heat race number 3 for the Dusty's Transmissions IMCA Northern Sport Mods. Dwayne Melvin finishes 2nd. Brandon Wilson will be 3rd. 4th, Ryder Boswell in car number 08. Nick Berryhill finishes out 5th in car number 5. Jansen Nips and Bartley Foster, your lead lap finishing order. Heat race number 1 of 3 for your Sweet Tea IMC Modifieds. It's the Coburg Distillery, Furniture Options, SDMF Customs, James Gang Pizza, Superior Fuel Cells, SDMF Chassis from Coburg. That is Jesse Williamson. Outside of him from Manteca, California, and the Hoppus Motorsports, Stevenson Suspensions, Icon Pistons, Andrews Paving and Excavating, Hogue Racing Suspensions. Special thanks to Dad running a Victory Circle chassis, Daryl Hughes II. Row 2 inside, car number 1M. He's a 7-time champion here. Good to see him back in the IMC Modifieds. The Hoppus Motorsports, Marble Mountain Helicopters, Fudge Family, ABC Powder Coating, Willamette Valley Bank Shaw. From Medford, Mark Waggy. Lining up 4th, the most recent track champion here. He drives the Crystal Clear Choice Medical Transport, Dave's Motorsports, Hoppus Motorsports, Matt's Automotive, Poli Plumbing, CED Electric, Sidelines Pizzeria, Sammy's Parlor, Tom Keller at Country Financial. Special thanks to Clay Money running an S&J chassis from Klamath Falls, Zach Fettinger. Zach Fettinger, 2019 track champion, will line up in position number 4. 5th will be a 3-time track champion here. The AG Auto and Repair, Aardvark Construction, Ashland Medford Plumbing, the Fudge Family, Pete and Sandy Grunberger, Happy Campers, Odor-Free Holding Tank Treatment, Shaw Chassis from Central Point, Albert Gill. Outside of Gill, in the Don Rummer O number 83R, the car from Grants Pass, the driver from Keno, Jeffrey Hudson, in the Cascade Auto Recycling, Car Transport 37 Studios, Shaw. 4th and final row, car number 4Y, lines up 7th, Paradise Painting, Restad Racing, Simmons Motorsports, FBI Manufacturing Homes, Left Coast Underground, Skinner's Truck Repair, Bullseye Recycling, Juan Coda Forestry, Advanced Roofing, T-Shaw Chassis, Jimmy Lipke. And outside of Lipke, the 2G of James Welshon out of Shady Cove, and the AG Auto and Repair, Integrity Family Auto Sales, Fudge Family Racing, Shaw. So Welshon in car number 2G lines up in 8th. 8 cars, 8 laps, first of 3 heat races for your Sweet Tea IMCA Modifieds is Jesse Williamson, Daryl Hughes II, front row, Oregon and California. Here we go, green flag. Daryl Hughes II looked like a little bit of an advantage over Jesse Williamson on the high side, but they're still side by side in drag racing down the back straightaway here in heat number 1 of 3 for your Sweet Tea IMCA Modifieds at Southern Oregon Speedway. Lap number 1 credited to the W5 of Jesse Williamson as the race leader, as Zach Fenniger in car number 88 full send to the inside of Daryl Hughes II to move into second. Hughes is going to slap the wall as yellow is out. It's the first time we've seen the yellow, and we've got debris on the front straightaway, and it's a white piece of aluminum, and I believe that's coming from the 1M of Mark Waggy. That's a part of the decking that goes just over the fuel cell. And so for the first time tonight, we will see a stoppage in any of our heat races. 1 lap, it looks like, has been completed. And so we've got just 7 to go. The Sweet Tea IMCA Modifieds have been sanctioned by the Speedway Motors IMCA Weekly Racing Program since 2013. Dustin Knight was the first-time champion in 2013. Albert Gill going back-to-back in 2014, 2015. Mark Waggy, 2016. Jesse Bailey, 2017. Albert Gill, 2018, 2019. Zach Fenniger. As far as the KMJ Performance Oregon State points, Curtis Towns was the first ever champion. Craig Castle, 2014. Colin Weinbarger back-to-back in 15 and 16. John Campos, 17. Bryson James, 2018, 2019. And John Campos, the most recent KMJ Performance champion, winning it last year. So only 2 drivers that have won it once, Curtis Towns and Craig Castle, actually the first 2 editions of the KMJ Performance Oregon State points, and both drivers are here tonight. In fact, Curtis Towns enters the weekend as the KMJ Performance Oregon State points leader, while Craig Castle is the Sweet Tea IMCA Modified points leader. Jesse Williamson, Delaware double file restart coming up. Zach Fettinger and Daryl Hughes II is in that row immediately behind him. 1 lap complete, 7 to go. Green flag, we're back underway. Hughes trying to get some momentum in his favor to move around the outside of the W5 of Jesse Williamson to get to the front. Zach Fenniger keeping in close contact in car number 88 as a four-car battle for fourth between Jeffrey Hudson, Albert Gill, James Welshon, and Mark Waggy, and also bring Jimmy Lipke to call in the 4 wide. Now Darrell Hughes looking to the inside of Jesse Williamson as they go side by side off the second turn. Darrell Hughes the second will move into the race lead, and you've got a new race leader for lap number 3. We've got 5 to go. Darrell Hughes the second, but here comes Williamson looking to answer back with a similar move to the inside. Navigating the treacherous inside tires. You got to be definitely extremely careful and not get hooked by those infield tractor tires that are just sticking up out of the ground. As digging the right front into turns 1 and 2. Darrell Hughes the second leads Jesse Williamson. Trouble striking in turns 3 and 4. Mark Waggy in the 1M and Jimmy Lipke in the 4Y. Having issues in turns 3 and 4. Didn't quite see what happened.
Having a rough slid all the way back to in 3 and 4.
Waggy, 7-time champion here. 2016 winner of the Roger Haudenschild Memorial. Won the John Arenberg Memorial at Siskiyou Golden Speedway in 2017. As we look and see if we got a look here on Dirt Oval TV on the replay. Won the Lon Skinner Memorial Race here, as well as the Northwest Modified Nationals at Grays Harbor Raceway in Elma, Washington. Looking at the replay on Dirt Oval TV, Waggy solo spin, and Jimmy Lipke turning it hard to the left just to miss him. With 4 laps complete and 4 to go.
And now Waggy back off the track again. We'll work to figure out what's going on so we can update you with that.
Jesse Williamson, Zach Fenniger, James Welshon, followed by Jeffrey Hudson, Albert Gill, Jimmy Lipke. That is the running order. All cars are on the lead lap. And green flag, we get this one back underway. 2018 Merced Speedway track champion Darrell Hughes the second is your leader. 2019 track champion. Here's Zach Fenniger is second. Third is the 4-time Wild West Modified Shootout Series champion Jesse Williamson is Jeffrey Hudson. And the 83 are nearly 4 wide for second is Hudson. And Welshon briefly get together. Hudson keeps it on the throttle, and we're going to stay green. Jesse Williamson on the attack, going after Darrell Hughes the second for position number 1. Zach Fenniger still somehow manages to hold on to third. Fourth belongs to James Welshon. Jimmy Lipke is fifth. Then it's Albert Gill and Jeffrey Hudson side by side for the race lead as it's Williamson motoring his way around the outside of Hughes, and with 1 lap to solve it, and Jesse Williamson back to the front. Hughes again, that right front, digging hard into turns 1 and 2, trying to make up some lost territory as Jesse Williamson leads him into 3. Flipping the same story out of turn number 4 as Hughes has got a lot of speed on the bottom, but Jesse Williamson will win. Heat race number 1 of 3 for the Sweet Tea IMCA Modifieds. Darrell Hughes the second, finishes second. Zach Fenniger third, James Welshon fourth, fifth Jimmy Lipke, sixth Albert Gill, seventh will be the 83R of Jeffrey Hudson. Heat race number 1 of 2, pardon me, 2 of 3 for this division. The Rich and Nikki Bean owned number 54 in, the driver from Klamath Falls, and the Bean Racing. Nature Images, JT Chassis, Design and Fabrication, Plush and Boots Photography, Hoppus Motorsports, Masami Wagyu, New Height Chiropractic, J&J Motorsports, Gilbertson Trucking, GRT Race Cars, AG Auto and Repairs, Swift Springs, Young Bros Construction, 54 in of Nick Trenchard. The 5M of Jake Maiden from Springfield, and the Hoppus Motorsports, Anderson Concrete Construction, T.O. Morgan Motors, Dirt Oval TV, D-Ray Designs, Eugene Gutter Service, GRT. 2021 race season dedicated to his late grandfather, Bill Maiden. Jake Maiden lines up outside pole. Former champion here in 2017, the Bailey Trucking, Rogers Racing Engines, Hoppus Motorsports, Rogue Fleet Services, Shaw, Central Point's Jesse Bailey. Lining up fourth also from Central Point, the 30F and the Stevenson Suspensions, Big Time Repair and Shine. Special thanks to his wife, running a Victory Circle chassis, Andy Freeman. Grading up in position number 5 from Central Point, Dave Dusty Jr. in the 73M, racing in memory of his mother, Jennifer. Dusty's Transmissions, B-Signs, Quality Tire, Siller Helicopters, Rocky Bass Roofing, Freedom Pool Services, Harris. While starting in 6th, the 21 out of Klamath Falls, and the Oldie Motorsports, Midas Brakes and Alignment, Mobag Suspension Technology. Special thanks to his wife, and running a DeVilbiss race car, that is Jeremy Oldie. Fourth and final row will look like this. The 64, Ray Niffen Jr. from White City, Drager Performance, Bridges Automotive, Big Time Paint Shop GRT. He lines up 7th, while Jeremy DeGroot in car number 3 from Cottage Grove in the Walsh Trucking. Special thanks to Robbie Robinson and to Home Built Chassis. Jeremy DeGroot starts in position number 8. Briefly touched on it before we went green. We talked about Curtis Towns being the KMJ Performance Oregon State point leader headed into tonight's action. He leads by just a mere 4 points to Jake Maiden, who will be your outside pole sitter of this race. Matthew Drager, 3rd in KMJ Performance points, while Bryson James and Jeffrey Hudson, who was just in that last race, round up the top 5. Paul Culp, who is here tonight for the Roger Hodenshield tribute, is 6th. Aaron Sheeler, 7th. James Welshon, who was in that last heat race. Paul Ray and Steven Sturdivant make up positions 6 through 10 for the KMJ Performance Oregon State points. As far as the Shaw Race Cars Western Region is concerned, Chaz Baca Jr. leads by a narrow 11-point margin over Ethan Dodson. Chaz Baca Jr. from Mesa, Arizona, while Ethan Dodson out of Bakersfield, California. Prunedale, California's Jim Pettit, the 2nd, 3rd in Shaw Race Cars Western Region points. Kellen Chadwick out of Oakley, California is 4th, and a tie for 5th between Bakersfield, California's Jerry Flippo and Cody Laney out of Torrance, California. That puts 7th in Shaw Race Cars Western Region points Bryson James. Bill Miller out of Yuma, Arizona is 8th. 9th, Kelly Johnson out of Peoria, Arizona. And Paul Culp, who's here tonight from Cresswell, just north of Cottage Grove, is 10th in Shaw Race Cars Western Region. The national scene is pretty much the same. Well, it's kind of sort of the same, actually. It's changed dramatically over the last couple weeks. Chaz Baca Jr. is the point leader, while Ethan Dodson is 2nd, just like the Shaw Race Cars Western Region. 11 points separate the two. Tim Ward, now residing in Harcourt, Iowa, is 3rd. Denison, Iowa is Shane DeMay, 4th. Jim Pettit, the 2nd, is 5th. Jeff Larson out of Freeport, Illinois, 6th. Kellen Chadwick is 7th from Oakley, California. And a tie between Jerry Flippo and Cody Laney for 8th, while Bryson James is 10th, and that is for the IMCA national point standings. Nick Trenchard, 3-time winner of this race. He actually has the most all-time sanctioned races for IMC Modifieds when Speedway Motors IMC Weekly Racing Program action came in 2013. He has 10 career wins here, and that is the most as far as features are concerned. Mark Waggy, 2nd on that list with 9. Craig Castle is the point leader headed into tonight. Nick Trenchard trails by just 1 marker. Albert Gill 3rd, Zach Feniger and Jesse Bailey, the rest of the top 5 in Southern Oregon Speedway points. As we're going to be going green, exiting turn number 4 this time by Nick Trenchard and Jake Maiden. Trenchard looking for his first win of 2021, while the 5M of Jake Maiden looking for his 3rd win, but it'd be his 2nd different track to pick up a victory. As we go green, Nick Trenchard in car number 54 out in front. Jake Maiden, the 5M up top, and operating this inside the 68 of Jesse Bailey. Dave Dusty Jr. in car number 73 is 4th as Jesse Bailey not worried about 2nd. He's going for the race lead and throwing caution to the wind, nearly getting in front of Nick Trenchard for position number 1. Dave Dusty Jr. to the inside of Jake Maiden for 3rd, as it is still Nick Trenchard showing the way. Jesse Bailey 2nd, Dave Dusty Jr. into the inside of Jake Maiden. Side by side is the position those two drivers are in, undecided for 3rd, as 5th is currently right now Andy Freeman, Jeremy Oldie, Ray Niffen Jr., and Jeremy DeGroot, the rest of the running order. The 54 in Nick Trenchard, able to keep the 68 of Jesse Bailey in check as we are 3 laps in this race and 5 to go. Jake Maiden has secured 3rd from the 73M of Dave Dusty Jr. Your top 4 cars have created a bit of separation over the rest of the body of the field, but spread out just a tad as Dave Dusty Jr. back into 3rd. He gets underneath the black and white 5M of Jake Maiden. Maiden trying to seize the position back via the inside is Jeremy Oldie in car number 21, trying to make it side by side for 5th with the 30F of Andy Freeman. 3 laps away from the drop of the checkered, Ray Niffen Jr. in car number 64 is pulled off of the racetrack early, unfortunately for him. It's about half a straightaway separating positions 1 and 2. Nick Trenchard, your leader still. Coming up on Jeremy DeGroot, another one of those debutante drivers in their rookie season. In car number 3, spent a little bit of time in the IMC Sport Compacts at Cottage Grove Speedway last year, and we are going to be seeing the white flag displayed one more time around for Nick Trenchard. Trenchard easily making the pass underneath the grid as this race for third going to be settled on this final lap. Into 3, out of turn number 4, Nick Trenchard from Klamath Falls will park the Rich and Nicky Bean entry in victory lane for this second heat race for the Sweet Tea IMC Modifieds. Jesse Bailey second, Dave Dusty Jr. third, fourth is Jake Maiden, fifth is Andy Freeman, sixth Jeremy Oldie for your lead lap finishers. Final heat race of the night, the 21J. He starts inside pole. John D. Benedetti out of Rogue River and the Chuck Braceland Trucking, Kinscales Automotive, Estermato Logging, Cook Crane Company, Gadget Construction, Visual Effects, Signs and Graphics, Superior Fuel Cells, Dusty's Transmissions, STMF Chassis. Outside of him, Curtis Towns, your KMJ Performance Oregon State Point Leader, West End Performance, IBEW Local 280, Power Trip Motorsports, RacePrint.com, JBX Excavating, AKM Construction, SKS sponsored Rage. Special thanks to his lovely wife, Tiffany, and he is out of Cottage Grove. The 15JT from Phoenix, the Jonky Heating and Air Conditioning, Big Time Repair and Shine, 1-2 Wraps, Go Heating and Plumbing, Razor Chassis, Justin McCready. Outside of him, the 2-5 Express from Albany. He won the season opener at Sunset Speedway Park in Banks last Saturday. He won the season opener here 2 weeks ago. Pardon me, a few weeks ago. Craig Castle out of Albany in the Esterly Motel, Deborah Herndon, family nurse practitioner, Bill, Michelle, and Ryan Witt. Arco AMPM of State and American Hero Carpet Cleaning, and special thanks to Trevor Glazer at Mid-Valley Farms, and he is running a Shaw by CRD as far as a chassis is concerned. James Anderson in the 82M, he will line up 5th in the starting lineup. He hails out of Eagle Point. Anderson Concrete, Snyder Creek Development, AG Auto and Repair, Brandon Davis Cattle Company, Battery Systems of Medford, Outlaw Powder Coating, D-Ray Designs, and the Fudge family. His sponsorships, Jet Chassis is his frame of choice. Running a Bills Built chassis, it's the V6 powered number 8 from Powers, just outside of the Coquille-Coos Bay area of the Oregon coast. Tom Elam in car number 8. In the last car on the starting grid, he lines up in 7th. Paul Culp in car number 42 out of Cresswell, running a Razor chassis. Special thanks to Chad and Jennifer Tarr, Tanks Concrete Pumping, Superior Fuel Cells. John D. Benedetti, 21J, no stranger to success when it comes to modified racing. 4-time Northwest Modified Nationals winner at Grays Harbor Raceway, won the Lon Skinner Memorial. 4-time Southern Oregon Speedway Dwarf Car Champion, also 2002 track champion here in the Modifieds, and 4-time Cottage Grove Speedway Modified Nationals champ. To his outside, Curtis Towns. He's a 3-time Cottage Grove Speedway Modified champion, 2-time late model champion up there. 2013 KMJ Performance Oregon State champ. And it looks like we are just about set to get this one underway.
Oh, yeah. Heat race number
Craig
3.
Castle in car number 25, 3-time Sunset Speedway Park track champion, former winner of the Doug Walters Classic up there in Banks, just outside of Portland. 2014 KMJ Performance Oregon State champ, and the defending track champion at Willamette Speedway in Lebanon. Paul Culp in car number 42, 2013 late model track champion at Cottage Grove Speedway. In 2017 was the car owner track champion, and the guy that got the job done is the one that starts on the outside front row, Curtis Towns. John D. Benedetti, Curtis Towns, front row, green flag coming out. Final heat race of the night for the Sweet Tea IMC Modified as we get this one underway. John D. Benedetti seizes the moment, seizes the opportunity, and seizes the lead as they exit turn number 2 and barrel down the back straightaway. The 2-5 Express chugging along to the inside of Justin McCready for third, but Curtis Towns and John D. Benedetti. Close quarter action. It's going to be Curtis Towns, your leader of lap number 1. John T. Benedetti, evasive action, nearly getting the front straightaway wall and fades back to second. And then Craig Castle came to call to make it a 3-car battle for the race lead as Curtis Towns picks up the left front tire. He still remains out in the position number 1 in the gray and blue number 24. John DiBenedetti is second. Third, Craig Castle. Fourth, Justin McCready. James Anderson is fifth. Paul Culp is sixth, and Tom Elam running in seventh. And now the fight for the lead is transformed into the battle for second as Craig Castle looks to get down to the inside of John DiBenedetti and work his way past him. As DiBenedetti gets on the binders nearly in the back straightaway wall, and DiBenedetti just trying to hold on to the runner-up spot, but the 25 of Craig Castle is able to beat him out at the wire on the completion of the most recent lap. That is the fourth circuit complete. Just all of a sudden, though, John DiBenedetti gets the elbows up, saws away at the wheel as he gets right up near the boards and turns 3 and 4, holds on to second. Now it is John DiBenedetti going after Curtis Towns for the race lead as the track's starting to widen out and drift closer and closer to the top as far as the racing groove is concerned. And DiBenedetti is extremely fast in corners 3 and 4. Curtis Towns trying to stay in front of John DiBenedetti as Justin McCready going after Craig Castle for third. Tom Elam, car number 8, is pulled off of the racetrack. We stay green as we would expect to see the white flag to come out this time around. And 1.305 seconds was the advantage for Curtis Towns over John DiBenedetti the last trip past the flag sim. This time it is extended to 2.167 advantage as Curtis Towns will take care of business in this one as he enters 3. And coming down the front straightaway, he'll be the first one to see the checkered flag. Curtis Towns, your winner of heat race number 3 for the Sweet Tea IMCA Modified. John DiBenedetti will finish second. Third, Craig Castle. Fourth, Justin McCready. Fifth, Paul Culp. 6th, James Anderson for your lead lap finishers for heat race number 3 of the IMCA Modifieds presented by Sweet Tea. Just like that, heat races have wrapped up. Scheduled to come up next is Trophy Dashes here at the Roger Hodenshield Tribute here at Southern Oregon Speedway, their third race of 2021. And for those of you that have just been joining in, for those of you just hopping in, maybe catching mid-race action, this is just the third race of 2021. And unfamiliar with this racetrack, they did not race at all in 2020. 2019, September, early September to be exact, was the last time that racing inhabited this facility, as they're going to take a little bit of pause in the action before we get into the dashes. Then after that will be the Crack the Whip for the Sweet Tea IMC Modifieds and the Dusty's Transmissions IMC Northern Sport Mods. And the finishing order of that race will determine the redraw order, not the starting positions, but the way they will redraw in tonight's feature of the Roger Hodenshield Tribute. And to my understanding, the way that works, it's going to be 10 cars for each race, 10 laps, and the last car in the running order of each lap will be dismissed off the racetrack. So you start with 10 cars. They complete lap number 1. The driver that's running in 10th will get the signal. Car number whoever will get the black flag, and they will be 10th in the drawing order, in the redraw order for main event starting positions. Then they complete lap number 2. The driver that is running 9th will be dismissed and will be 9th in the redraw order. So on and so forth till you come down to the final car. The guy that wins it will be the first to redraw. So it does.
Who's your favorite driver out here?
It's a big deal to be in the Crack the Whip race because it makes you start no worse than 5th row outside in 10th starting position, and has an opportunity, perhaps you're the 10th guy in, to start on the pole. So we're very curious how that is going to work out, how that's going to unfold. It should be very exciting. Normally you see the face-offs where it's 2 cars and they go just green-white checkered, and whoever wins stays out and has an opportunity to keep climbing and climbing forward. But that's not the case, where it's all these cars that have locked themselves into some good starting positions, and that is scheduled to come up here very soon. And then after that, after the Crack the Whips, that is going to be the main events. Hornets, as far as their main event distance is concerned, concerned. We'll see if they have uploaded on My Race Pass. Looks like 15 laps is what they're going to contest for tonight, whereas the Sweet Tea IMC modifies. It says 25 laps, but we'll double-check with race official. It was sounding like it was leaning towards 30 laps in distance.
After the first lap, whichever car is in 10th place
Well,
will
as
have
they
to leave the
do
track.
some housekeeping business
next
here
lap,
on the
the
PA
last
system
place car will
here
leave the
at
track,
Southern
and
Oregon
will
Speedway.
do
We're going to
that
do some
until there's
housekeeping
only
business.
one
Of course,
left.
thank you all for tuning in on Dirt Oval TV, IMC.TV, or Speed Sport TV. Be sure and check out tomorrow night. Lots of racing happening across the country with IMCA.TV. Benton County Speedway, the home of IMCA in Benton, Iowa, will once again be in action, along with Raceway Park, the new Raceway Park in Jefferson, South Dakota. Dubuque County Dubuque Fairgrounds Speedway in eastern Iowa. Buffalo River Speedway in Glendon, Minnesota will also be racing, as well as Estevan Motor Speedway just north of the border in Saskatchewan. And the final round of action for the 2021 edition of the Tougher Than Dirt Series, Nodak Speedway in Minot, North Dakota. Be sure and check it, as Nodak Speedway has created some memorable moments. In fact, several have made it for the AFCO Moment of the Week, which you can catch each and every week on IMCA.TV, whether through Facebook or through the app on Roku or any streaming devices or online. There you can also find Getting Up to Speed with me, Ben Dethridge, where we interview drivers from across the country, part of the Speedway Motors IMCA weekly racing program. A lot of drivers that participate in the IMCA modified divisions right now. And as far as the Tougher Than Dirt series, that is a showcase for the Carl Customs IMCA Northern Sport Mods and Sunoco IMCA Hobby Stocks. A little bit of a 5 races in 5 nights. Last night getting rained out in Williston Basin Speedway in North Dakota. Tonight, Southwest Speedway in Dickinson, North Dakota. In fact, that is where Travis Peary, who's with us tonight, was a track champion there in the IMCA Modified Division in 2018. Started out at McLean County Speedway in Underwood, North Dakota on Wednesday. Thursday night was Thunder Mountain Speedway in Bottineau, North Dakota, right near the Canadian border. Last night, Williston getting rained out. Tonight, Southwest Speedway in Dickinson, and then tomorrow in Minot. Great little series that has been put together. And then we get right back to racing Wednesday night on IMC.TV as we go to the Beaver Buena Vista Raceway in Alta, Iowa, having, I think it's about their 3rd race of 2021. So be sure and check it out. Also some upcoming pay-per-views. Of course, the Speedway Motors IMCA Super Nationals fueled by Casey's at Boone Speedway in September. The Harris Clash in early August at Deer Creek Speedway in Spring Valley, Minnesota. The IMCA.TV Winter Nationals for 2022. That'll be at Cocopah Speedway in the Yuma, Arizona area, actually, to be specific, in Somerton, Arizona. And coming up in a few weeks, the Land of 10,000 Lakes 10K. It kicks off at Princeton Speedway on a Thursday night. Then Friday and Saturday will be at Princeton, Minnesota, not Princeton, New Jersey. And then Friday, Saturday night will be North Central Speedway in Brainerd for 2 nights of action. And then it all comes to a close in Sauk Rapids, Minnesota on a Sunday. That'll be at Granite City Motor Park in Sauk Rapids. And so there's going to be some big money on the line. I think it's $5,000 to win at Princeton, and then $5,000 to win the first night at North Central, and then $10,000 to win each night for the second night at North Central, and then the final night at Sauk Rapids at Granite City Motor Park. So all of that and more you can watch on IMCA.TV. Be sure and check it out.
if you win that. So
all sorts of great
chunk of that
stuff
may have to come
coming
out.
along,
Also, your
and
friend
some of
may
the
be,
best events that you can
very
find on
insistent
dirt
that
as
it's
far
your
as
turn to buy
pay-per-views
drinks
are
tonight if you get
concerned.
that win. But after all of that,
Very
you're still
enjoyable
taking
to
home a
watch.
good handful of cash.
If
Go
you're a
and grab
fan of the
50-50
Speedway
tickets.
Motors
It supports
IMCA
Eagles.
weekly
Fast pitch, they're trying to
racing
raise money for
program.
Eagle Point High School
Going
to
to
get
take a
some
little
batting
break here.
cages.
Southern Oregon
It's a great
Speedway
cause. It
trophy
helps our kids
dashes
out in
and the
area.
Crack the Whip races are
Real
coming
easy to buy
up
tickets.
next
You may see them
here
walking
in White
around
City.
in the We want to give a big shout out to DeVry Construction tonight. They're going to be sponsoring the main events for us. Guys, we have a $2,000 payout for the modifieds tonight at the 8th annual Chat Tribute tonight. It's going to be a really fun evening. $2,000 for the modifieds, and just a reminder, so right now, the first place prize for the modifieds and the 50-50 tickets is the same number.
All right, late model trophy dash coming up, and the Ray Mitchell and family-owned number 18, Joey Tanner from Portland, to his outside. The Dave Foote-owned number 75 of Miles Dubert from Medford. 88, Braden Fugate from Bandon, and to his outside, the 4E, Trent Elliott from Lapine. Set to go green next time by. This race is scheduled for 4 laps for your CDA late models.
He's on the outside pole. Brandon Fugate.
Joey Tanner won heat race number 1. Braden Fugate won heat race number 2. Green flag is out, and here we go. Joey Tanner seizes the lead on the initial drop of the green. And it is going to be Joey Tanner remaining there in position number 1. Miles Dubert second. Trent Elliott third. Braden Fugate fourth. 75 of Dubert trying to do his very best to win the 18 of Tanner. Tanner, though, setting a torrid pace in that red, light yellow, and black number 18. One more trip around the park for car number 18. Traditionally in car number 111, but this year racing for Ray Mitchell and family. Joey Tanner from Portland will be your winner of the CDA Late Models Trophy Dash. Second is Miles Dubert. Third, Trent Elliott. Fourth, Braden Fugate. And just like that, I believe it's going to be our one and only trophy dash of the night.
That's Joey Tanner.
As the other divisions, when I talk about the other divisions, I specifically talking about the Sweet Tea, IMC Modifieds, and Dusty's Transmissions, IMC Northern Sport Mods.
In it. So grab that. I want you to look
They are going to be having their Crack the Whip races as Joey Tanner headed down to Victory Lane, and I think the local track announcers are going to grab a word with him. So we can deliver that lineup for the Dusty's Transmissions IMC Northern Sport Mods. We'll click over to the Sport Mod tab. And that lineup will feature Steven Sanders on the inside front row. The Brookings Glass number 7S entry from Brookings. Outside of him, the 69 Dwayne Melvin, Hoppus Motorsports car from right here in the Medford area. Starting third from Medford, Mike Medell in the 30M, Eichenlob Lawn Care and Cleaning. Starting in position number 4, Wyatt Westfall in the 7W.
We got a couple more coming down.
Jonky Heating and Air Conditioning.
That's okay.
Lining up in 5th will be in position number 5, car number 5, Nick Berryhill from Central Point, Fred's Rod Shop. Starting 6th, Dustin Comer in the 26 from Springfield, sponsored by Shockwave Shock Services. Then 4th row inside, Ryan Peary from Wairika, California, in the A&J Farms 21P. Outside of him, lining up in 8th, will be the 84 Quench and Dritch Car Wash Machine from Central Point, Jordan Broughton. 5th row inside, Travis Peary in the Blue Frog Realty 21 TP out of Wairika, California. And Chico, California's number 44, Tyler Rogers in the Kevin's Auto and Fleet Services 44, lines up in position number 10. So Tyler Rogers, we mentioned about him being one of the up-and-coming stars as far as IMC and Northern Sport Mods are concerned in the Carl Custom scene, national scene, not just here on the West Coast. He's got 3 wins already this year, 1 at Diamond Mountain Speedway in Susanville and 2 at American Valley Speedway in Quincy. 3 wins, 6 top 5s, 7 top 10s, and 10 starts. Where Ryan Peary, another one of those upcoming stars in the 21P, he has 4 wins this year, 3 of them at Siskiyou Golden Speedway, 1 at Diamond Mountain Speedway, 4 wins, 11 top 5s, 11 top 10s, and 11 starts. He has not finished 10th or worse in any of his main event appearances so far in 2021. Last year, sort of his debut season, he had 2 wins, 10 top 5s, 12 top 10s, and 19 starts. So his average finish last year was 8.105, whereas this year it is 2.181. So this one's scheduled to start with 10. It has been reduced to 8. I believe that means it is going to go 8 laps in distance. Getting word over the PA system, Jordan Broughton and Mike Medell, the 2 drivers absent from the starting lineup in this one. It sounds like they are not done for the night. They're just done for this specific race.
Before the end of the first lap, he will have to leave the track.
So whoever is last in the running order when they come across the line will be dismissed from the racetrack. And then the next lap, same story, until we're left with just 1.
1 car leaving after each lap.
Dusty's Transmissions, IMC Northern Sport Mods, Steven Sanders, Dwayne Melvin. Keep an eye on the battle up front, but also be conscious of the drivers that are at the back that are trying to stay in front of last place. Here we go.
In honor of
8 cars crack the whip here at the Roger Hodenshield Tribute gets underway. This will be happening for the Sweet Tea IMCA Modifieds as well, nearly 4-5 wide. As you can see, those drivers in the back of the field desperate not to be in last. As currently right now that is being held by Travis Peary in the 21 TP. Steven Sanders leads lap 1, but it's not going to be Peary. It's going to be the 5 of Nick Berryhill. Nick Berryhill spins in turn 4, and I think that will bring a yellow. So Nick Berryhill was going to be the last car to come across the line, so it'll be Berryhill that'll have to exit. So this is 8 laps, since there are just 8 cars involved. That makes the most sense. No sense of 2 extra laps and having just everyone stay out there. It decreases the high-intensity pressure.
Okay, folks, so the only car that didn't complete that first lap was the 5 car of Nick Berryhill, so he is going to be the last place car that leaves the track.
So Steven Sanders leads, single file nose-to-tail restart. Dwayne Melvin is second, Dustin Comer third. It's Wyatt Westfall, followed by Ryan Peary, Tyler Rogers, and Travis Peary. Just as I say, single file nose-to-tail, Delaware double file restart. And Travis Peary, if there were a lucky dog situation, that was a prime example, as he was going to be the last car to come across the line until the 5 of Nick Berryhill spun, and green flag is back out. Steven Sanders again in car number 7S, able to navigate in front of the rest of the field. Dustin Comer is second, while battle at the back. This is for 6th place between Tyler Rogers and Travis Peary. What's it going to be as they come to the start-finish line? Travis Peary, unfortunately, was the last one at the wire. 3 wide for 5th, or pardon me, for 4th place is Peary. The 21 TP of Travis Peary, that is, has been eliminated. The 7W of Wyatt Westfall battling with Ryan Peary, and it looks like Westfall is going to get eliminated. So 3 wide, nearly for the race lead. Remember, Tyler Rogers started dead last. He's already up to 2nd. Now the final position on the line is the 26 of Dustin Comer. As Tyler Rogers leads, Dwayne Melvin 2nd, Steven Sanders is 3rd, 4th is Ryan Peary. Now Dustin Comer has been eliminated. So we're down to 4. Well, they're spread out, so this is going to make things interesting for some of these guys, as Ryan Peary will fall short of getting past Steven Sanders, and now Steven Sanders, the pressure on him. Again, where they finish is the redraw order. So Tyler Rogers is looking to be the first driver to draw for a starting position in tonight's 25-lap Roger Hodenshield Tribute, as the 7S of Steven Sanders eliminated, and Tyler Rogers will win it. Dwayne Melvin will draw 2nd, and the redraw order will be Tyler Rogers, Dwayne Melvin, Steven Sanders, Ryan Peary, Dustin Comer, Dustin Comer, Ryan Peary, Wyatt Westfall, Travis Peary, Nick Berryhill, and I'm not sure how they're going to arrange it with Jordan Broughton and Mike Medell. We'll try and get more word on that. They're going to be conducting the redraw shortly after the conclusion of this Sweet Tea IMCA Modified Crack the Whip, and we'll deliver that starting lineup right now as we pull that race up. This one, like the last one, is scheduled for 10 cars going for 10 laps. The 88 of Zach Fettinger, your inside pole sitter, Crystal Clear Choice Medical Transport entry from Klamath Falls. 15 JT from Phoenix, Justin McCready and his Jonky Heating and Air Conditioning Machine. Row 2 inside, lining up 3rd, Jesse Bailey from Central Point. Bailey Trucking is primary sponsorship, while the 1M of Mark Waggy in the Hoppus Motorsports entry out of Medford lines up 4th. 5th will be the Weston Performance number 24 out of Cottage Grove, Curtis Towns. 6th, Jake Maiden, another one of those Hoppus Motorsports cars from Springfield, lines up 6th. 7th is a Hoppus Motorsports entry, the 28H, Daryl Hughes out of Manteca, California. Outside of Hughes, the 21J of John D. Benedetti from Rogue River. Chuck Braceland Trucking is primary sponsorship. Fifth row looks like this. The 54 in. The Rich and Nikki Bean own entry. The driver from Klamath Falls and the Nature Images 54 in. Nick Trenchard. And the Cobra Distillery W5 out of Cobra, Jesse Williamson. So same story, except this one has all 10 able to report for action. So 10 laps, completion of lap 1, driver that is running in 10th is done. They have to pull off. Completion of lap 2, the driver running in 9th is done. Lap 3, the driver that is 8th, until we have eliminated it down to just one. Zach Fettinger and Justin McCready. They've got the luxury of starting up front. McCready in his second season. This is actually his first race in this division here at Southern Oregon Speedway. Won a big main event at Siskiyou Golden Speedway during Independence Day weekend holiday last year, as he made the jump in 2020 from the Dusty's Transmissions IMC Northern Sport Mods. Here we go, 10 cars, 10 laps, final crack the whip of the night gets started now. Here we go. Zach Fenniger to the inside of the 15 JT Justin McCready. Fight for second, side by side. It's the 68 of Jesse Bailey to W5. Jesse Williamson is the last car in the line, scored in 10th. But John D. Benedetti smacks the wall in turns 3 and 4. And lap number 1 will be Fettinger leading. John D. Benedetti is 10th and will be dismissed. Now that puts the pressure on Nick Trenchard as they nearly go 3 wide for 9th as Jake made in the black and white number 5M. Now he goes back to P9. Fettinger still leads with some heavy pressure from Jesse Bailey. The 5M of Jake Maiden now is going to get the black flag as Jesse Bailey trying to overtake the 88 of Zach Fettinger to gain that insurance position. Last car in the running order is 8th, and it's the white, or the gray and blue 24 of Curtis Towns. Although hold the phone, Jesse Williamson in danger, but it will be Curtis Towns getting eliminated. Now Jesse Williamson and Justin McCready fighting it out. This is for position number 7, I believe. McCready fades back a little bit as Williamson, who started dead last, is desperately trying to get to the front. Jesse Bailey, meanwhile, beats out Zach Fenniger at the start-finish line to lead the race as Justin McCready receives the black flag. Jesse Williamson is the last one in line as Nick Trenchard and Mark Waggy battle up in front of him as Fettinger and Bailey. My goodness, the race for first is undecided, and the magnificent run from the W5 of Jesse Williamson is over as he will get the black flag. Nick Trenchard running in position number 5 is the last in line as Jesse Bailey leads. Oh no, Trenchard and Waggy spin. Well, Waggy spun first, I should say, and Trenchard nowhere to go. Tried to make the pass around him. We'll see how the officials rule this. Who is going to be the one that goes out? Is it going to be Waggy or Trenchard, or perhaps possibly both?
Himself over at the exit of turn number 4, right in front of Nick Trenchard.
And again, the finishing order of this race isn't how they start in tonight's final main event. It is how they will redraw. So the winner of this Crack the Whip will be the first driver to draw in the redraw coming up here shortly. While John D. Benedetti, who is the first driver eliminated, will be the last driver to draw. So remaining on the racetrack, we have 4 cars. It's Jesse Bailey, Zach Fenniger, Darrell Hughes the second, and Nick Trenchard. So 4 cars left. Just got a few more laps to go. So it was the one in Milwaukee that was ruled the driver that needed to go. Crack the Whip for the Sweet Tea IMC Modifieds is going to get back underway. Nick Trenchard doesn't have to worry about a huge gap between himself and third place. He's not going to try and waste the opportunity. It's nearly 3 wide for the race lead going into turn number 1. It's Bailey to the inside of Fenniger. Side by side, drag racing in turn number 3. Trenchard trying to bring the rain from the high side, but it is going to be Hughes beating out Trenchard for position number 3. As they race for the lead, Darrell Hughes the second is on the hot seat now in this Crack the Whip. Hughes in the 28 trying to get around Bailey, but it will be Bailey with the advantage over Hughes, and it will be all sorted out on this final lap as Zach Fettinger and Jesse Bailey, the 2017 track champion of Bailey, is going to get sideways, and the 2019, your defending track champion, Zach Fettinger, will cross the line first as Bailey fortunately keep the dirty side down and all four on the floor as he hooked one of those treacherous inside tires in the third turn. He will redraw in second, and so that is going to do it for all of the preliminary action here at Southern Oregon Speedway. The 15-lap Hornet main event is first on the docket as we're entering our final phase of racing events. 15-lap Hornet main event is next, 25 laps in distance for the CDA late models, 25 laps for the Dusty's Transmissions, IMC Northern Sport Mods, and 30 laps, it sounds like. We'll double check with race officials. It did sound like that was the case for the Sweet Tea IMC Modifieds.
I got 2 more tickets in my hand for the kiddos.
I think we're going to send things down trackside to Cam, the local announcer here at Southern Oregon Speedway, for post-race interviews with our Crack the Whip winners and Trophy Dash winner in the late models.
4855.
Here at the Roger Hodenshield Tribute, Southern Oregon Speedway in gorgeous and scenic White City. One of the only racetracks here in the Pacific Northwest able to get racing action in as the weather played havoc with the rest of them.
So I'll read all 4 for you guys one more time, all right? The first ticket is 9184837. The second ticket is 9184775. Ticket number 3, 9184855. And ticket number 4, 9184806.
Make some noise if that's your ticket number so we know that you guys are coming down. I should have 3 more kids coming down. Raise your hand if you're on your way. Because if not, we're going to pull a couple more numbers. There we go. Okay, we got 2 of them here. Looking for 2 more. Hey, Cameron, read me off 2 more numbers. Right behind you are the blue tickets. Poor guy, got him running.
Travis, I'm trying to eat my Kona bento in peace. All right, I got 2 more. First one, 9184790.
If that's you, come on down. Give me 1 more, Cameron.
9184791.
There you go. If that's your number, come on down. Meet me down by the flag stand.
9184791.
So each of the drivers on these dash races just won $100 cash plus a trophy. Okay, we're going to make our way across here. These little guys are going to get their picture taken with the drivers. Are you excited? Yes. Right. Here we go. Future race car drivers right here. Okay, we need to get these drivers lined up between 8th place to 1st, 9th to 1st, excuse me. We're going to do a pill draw for the lineup. So let's get everybody lined up from 9th to 1st. How you doing, John? What's the track looking like out there?
Well, it's challenging, but I'm just glad we're racing, guys. I think most of the West Coast is rained out, and we had enough cojones to hang in there and try and put a show on for you guys and do this for the Hodgeshow family. They sponsor this and great supporters of the Speedway, and we're just glad to be here.
I know there's a lot of people out there that were down that were going to be here tonight, and it was this man that was like, guys, don't worry about it. God's pretty watering the track. We're going to be running tomorrow. I appreciate all you do here, bro.
Yeah, you know, and I think it's time for me to kind of pass the torch. James Hall, he's on that tractor right now, and April, his wife, comes out here with him, and they're digging in and they're doing everything that it takes to relieve me, because I really can't do it. I don't have the time for it. I've put my time in to get it where it is. James has gained a lot of confidence, and we've done about everything wrong you can do, so I think from now on, we'll start getting some good racetracks. And actually, it is a good racetrack tonight. It's pretty racy. It's very challenging. He's trying right now with that Rotera. He's going to knock the tops off those little ruts, and hopefully that loose material will go down in the low spots and smooth it up some. The Hornets didn't do us any favors coming out earlier, but they deserve to run as well. But the sires are just so small, they just kind of cut the racetrack up. So enough out.
Well, I understand you have a love affair with one of the concrete barriers up there. Does your wife know about this?
Yeah, she does. We've replaced a lot of right side parts on my car, but I just will not settle for the bottom, and I got to go try it. I told the guys in the driver's meeting I'll be your test pilot for the night.
Good man. Okay, we're going to line up. Let's get my kiddos over here. We're going to be drawing their position. Trying to organize race car drivers is always a challenge. Okay, let's get my kids over here. We're gonna draw some places with these drivers. We're gonna start with the winners of the heats. What's your lucky number?
I hope the one, but I'll probably pull like 105 out of 12, so.
Lucky for you, we do not have 105. Okay, we're gonna pull the first one right now. I'm gonna let you go ahead and pull it. Unbelievable. Pulls the number one right off the top. You can give me that $100 later on. All right, brother, how you feeling? Pretty good? Oh, supposed to go this way. Sorry. You got. Okay, you ready? There you go. Number 6. That is a good number. Right on. Here we go. Number 4. Number 4. Introduce yourself to the racers.
I'm Ryan Perry.
What number?
21P.
And what number are you hoping to pull out of here?
Hopefully a 2.
Go for it. Number 7, lucky number 7. Mike, how you doing, buddy? Come on. Don't be looking at cheating now. Number 5 for Mike. Hey, here we go. Here we go. Oh, number 9. That was a number 9. Number 3, that's good. So we have 2 and 8 left. Here we go, 2 and 8. 2, there it is. Okay, we're going to, we're missing. Oh, okay, so.
Travis? Snyder? Can you have them introduce themselves before they pull a pill?
Yeah, that would probably help you guys out a lot, wouldn't it? Okay, well, number 1.
I'm surprised I did. Oh, my name, Tyler Rogers.
Who's my number 2? Number 2.
Ricky Thornton Jr. Nah, Dustin Comer.
Steven Sanders starting third.
Jordan Broughton, number 84.
Right on, that's the guy to watch.
Yeah, Mike Medell, 30M.
Nice, Mike. Number 5, who's my 6th?
Travis Perry, 6P.
Good job.
Ryan Perry, 21P.
Hey, it's not here. Who got the 9?
Dwayne Melvin, 69.
There's your lineup for the night. All right, let's give these guys a big round of applause. They're about ready to give you guys a good show out there. Let's encourage them. Brandon, you weren't here. You got lucky number 8, Brandon Wilson.
Brandon Wilson.
Jesse Williamson from Eugene.
Number 8, congratulations.
Nick Trenchard, 54N.
There you go, Nick. Going for the 1. Number 1. Oh, sorry, guys, it's gone.
Curtis Towns, 24.
Number 24. Going for the number 2. What do you got? Number 2. I got to quit calling. This is crazy. Daryl Hughes, Manteca, California. All the way from California. Thank you for coming up. What do you get? Lucky number 7. Are you going to draw? Right on.
Jesse Bailey, 68.
What'd you? Number 4. Great job, Mr. John D. Benedetti.
Number 21J.
Number 3 for John. Congratulations. There we go.
Zach Fettinger, number 88.
Only a couple left. What do you get? Number 6. Number 6. Dusty is missing. He's going to get what's left. 9 and a 5. Working.
Number 25, Craig Castle.
Going for that number 5, but he grabs a number 9. So, so Dusty's going to be the number 5 on this. Okay, let's get rolling, start racing, guys. Thank you. guys a big round of applause, and they're about ready to give you a good show. Take it away, Cameron. So I'm over here at the 50-50 table. How you guys doing? Do we have any idea what the number's up to? Totaled well over 2,000. And Bob, our race director, is actually down here buying tickets right now. And if he wins it, he's going to donate half of it back. What a man. This is Eagle Point Fast Pitch. They're hoping to raise some money for their new batting cages at Eagle Point High School. I have to put a shout out to them because I am class of 92. They used to seem not that old, but now it does. We're guessing about $2,500. So get up here, get your tickets, get your chance to win half of that in cash. We're going to be drawing the number right before the final main event.
We want to make a really quick shout out, folks. We have a group of kids in the crowd that are celebrating graduation this weekend, and they're from Sweet Home. Their track was rained out, so they drove all the way to the Southern Oregon Speedway to spend their graduation weekend with us. How about a round of applause and a big congratulations and a welcome here to the Southern Oregon Speedway. Track that's not supposed to be there. If there's a race going on, it's time to leave the track so that we can get it nice and cleared out so we can have a race. So if you're just hanging out on the wall having a good time, we would appreciate it if you can clear out so that we can get these races moving on time for folks. Okay, folks, main events are getting ready to roll out, so grab a beer, grab a snack, grab a 50-50 ticket. We're getting closer and closer. The booth is just finishing up the lineups. They just had to do an invert pill draw, so they're still throwing things together.
All right, for those of you back here on Dirtable TV, the main events, it sounds like the CDA late models are going to be leading off as far as main events are concerned. Then they're going to go to the Dusty's Transmissions IMC Northern Sport Mods, then the Sweet Tea IMC Modifieds. Then the Hornets are going to close the night out. That's what was at least relayed to me during the little bit of a break there during the redraw. And that the Modifieds will be racing for 30 laps. Scheduled. Well, we have some time. We can talk about Southern Oregon Speedway and as far as different winners and placers over the years. Again, 2013, the first season that the Speedway Motors IMCA Weekly Racing Program came here to Southern Oregon Speedway. Since then, as far as the Sweet Tea IMC Modifieds are concerned, 75 races have been contested, producing 33 different winners. On top of the win list, Nick Trenchard. We talked about that earlier in the show. And he has 10 wins here. Mark Waggy has 9, Albert Gill 7, Jesse Bailey, Bobby Hogues have 5 each. And then rounding out the top 5, well, actually 6th on the win list is going to be Zach Fettinger. Then it's a 3-way tie for 3rd. Jeremy Ritchie, Jesse Williamson, Colin Weinbarger with wins here. 3-way tie for 2nd between 3-way tie with 3 wins was Williamson, Weinbarger, and Ritchie. 3-way tie with 2 wins, Monty Bischoff, Kevin Hewitt, and Troy Folger. And a slew of drivers have won here once, 20 to be exact. Dustin Knight, Dave Dusty Jr., Anthony Restad, Scott Lentz, Brian Papa, John DiBenedetti, Tom Berry Jr., defending IMC National Modified Champion, Dwayne Orsburn, Craig Castle, BJ Wild, Danny Lauer, Ryan Gaylord, Andy Freeman, Kellen Chadwick, James Welshon, CJ Putnam, Preston Jones, Derek Nance, Jeffrey Hudson, and actually Kellen Chadwick has 2 wins here at this facility. So 19 drivers have won here at least once. As far as drivers finishing in the top 5, it is a tie between Nick Trenchard and Mark Waggy with 31 each. Albert Gill has 30. 4th on the list, 28, Jesse Bailey. Then it goes to 18 with Zach Fettinger. Dave Dusty Jr. has 15. Monty Bischoff 12. Bobby Hogue has 10. Top 5 finishes. Jesse Williamson, Jeremy Oldie have 8 each. A tie for 7th between Jeremy Ritchie and Dwayne Orsburn with 7 each. Colin Weinbarger and Brian Papa along with James Welshont. It's a 3-way tie for looks like 15th with 6 top 5 performances. For top 10s, Albert Gill leads that category. Jesse Bailey second with 28, or pardon me, Albert Gill leads it with 47. Jesse Bailey has 40. Mark Waggy 39. Nick Trenchard 38. Then it goes down a bit. It's a 3-way tie between Zach Fettinger, Jeremy Oldie, and Dwayne Orsburn, 23 wins each. Dave Dusty Jr. has 19 and a 2-way tie, for 10th, Monty Bischoff and Jesse Williamson. All-time starts. This is for the Sweet Tea IMC Modifieds. Albert Gill tops that list with 55. A tie between Jesse Bailey and Mark Waggy with 47. Nick Trenchard 44. 39, Zach Fettinger. 29 for Jeremy Oldie. 25, Dwayne Orsburn. 22, Dave Dusty Jr. A tie between Monty Bischoff and Preston Jones with 16 each. And then it's a 4-way tie. 5-way tie with 15. Jeremy Ritchie, Ray Niffen Jr., James Welshon, John DiBenedetti, and Brian Papa. And there have been
that you text them that they can still watch
173 drivers to start at least one main event here since 2013 in Speedway Motors IMSA weekly racing program action. Going to the Dusty's Transmissions IMC Northern Sport Mods, Jordan Broughton has a huge lead as far as the all-time win list. Jordan Broughton, 33 career main event wins here. Second on the all-time list is Bob Nelson, who has 4. So it is like if you're a fisherman in the ocean and you go off the continental shelf, a drop significantly. Jordan Broughton has owned this place. We'll see if he can keep his perfect winning record here at Southern Oregon Speedway here tonight. It's a tie for third, with 3 wins. Mike Medell, Rich McCoy have 3 each. And then there are 5 drivers who have 2 wins. Rob Fitzsimmons, Matt Dusty, Fred Ryland, Matt Sanders, Tyler Rogers has won here twice. And then drivers who have won here once. That is a list of 13 individuals. Dwayne Melvin, Toby Judd, David Marble, Todd Cooper, Howard Law, Justin McCready, Isaac Sanders, Doug Kaufman, Brandon Wilson, Braxton Posinger, Guy Allward, Andrew Peckham, and Marissa Henson. So that brings the grand total to 66. Dusty's Transmissions IMC Northern Sport Mod main events contested here, producing 22 different winners. Top 5s all time is Jordan Broughton. Not as significant in a lead, but still leading that. 46 to Mike Medell's 31. Dwayne Melvin has 21. Bob Nelson, 19. Willie McFall with 16. And a 2-way tie between David Marble and Jimmy Lipke. Rich McCoy has 13, Matt Sanders 10, and a 2-way tie for 10th between Jason Rupert and Glenn Severson. For the top 10, Jordan Broughton leads, but by an even narrower margin of 50 to Mike Medell's 46. Dwayne Melvin has 39, Willie McFall 31, Bob Nelson wrapping up the top 5 with 29. David Marble, 20. Rich McCoy, Randy Fernandez, 18 each. Jimmy Lipke, 17. Toby Judd rounding up the top 10 with 15. Now the starts, it is not Jordan Broughton that leads this category. That is Mike Medell. He has 3 more feature starts at this racetrack than Jordan Broughton, 53 to 50. 45 feature starts for Dwayne Melvin. 42 to Willie McFall. 30, Bob Nelson. That's the top 5. 6th is David Marble with 24. 7th, Rich McCoy, 22. Randy Fernandez, 21. Jimmy Lipke, 20. Toby Judd, A.J. Parker, and Tony Bartell, a 3-way tie for 10th with 18 each. There have been a grand total of 119 different drivers that have have started at least one main event here at Southern Oregon Speedway since Speedway Motors IMCA Weekly Racing Program sanctioning started in 2014. '25-lap late model main event about to get let loose here. Joey Tanner and the Ray Mitchell and family-owned number 18, the team based out of nearby Eagle Point, the driver from Portland, the artificial turfs and putting greens, number 18, who's outside from the coastal city abandoned Braden Fugate in his Kenware Chevrolet car. Row 2 inside, the Dave Foote-owned number 75 team, the team out of Coos Bay, the driver from nearby Medford, the Maddox Race Carburation, number 75's Miles Dubert. Outside of Dubert, car number 7, Brian Norton, originally from Staten, now calling Jefferson home, the Dales Auto Body number 7. Starting 5th, the 4E from gorgeous and scenic Central Oregon from the city of Lapine, the AAA home inspection number 4E of Trent Elliott. Lining up 6th, the 42, looks like 42 JD is what he's being scored tonight. That's John David Duffier out of Sam's Valley in the CD Architects machine. Lining up 7th, car number 7W of Richard Wallace out of Gold Beach, Never Give Up logging machine. While lining up in 8th, the 6th, Bob Dees from Rogue River and his Dick's Towing, number 6. Fifth and final row, starting in 9th, the 20 of Chris Biggs out of Medford. Gentle Hands Adult Foster Home Machine from Medford. And Eugene's number 42-2, that's Chuck Christian in his Redwood Northwest sponsored car. All right, they're forming up, getting in their proper starting positions before we get this one started. 10 cars going 25 laps for the CDA late model main event of the evening. So the 18 of Joey Tanner trying to keep his perfect record intact as far as CDA late model wins here at this facility, looking to make it 2 for 2. Has 2 victories already on the campaign, 1 here and 1 at Cottage Grove Speedway. Braden Fugate, 2019 Coos Bay Speedway Sportsman Track Champion on the Oregon coast.
That's Richard Wallace. Slick-looking thing towards the back of the pack right now.
Trent Elliott, keep a clear eye on him as well. Champion here last time this racetrack was in facility. This facility was in action, and also won the coveted Cottonwood Classic, the big money race here back in 2019, and the 2017 Tidal Wave 50 winner at Coos Bay Speedway on the Oregon coast. All right, first main event of the night about to get underway here. 25 laps is the distance. Joey Tanner, Braden Fugate as they come out of turn number 4. Green flag is going to wave in the air, and this one is underway. Joey Tanner on the inside is able to get the early race advantage over your second place starter, Braden Fugate, and it's nearly a 3-car tussle for second as Brian Norton on the high side down low. The 75 of Miles Dubert as lap number 1 is going to be led by Joey Tanner. Joey Tanner pacing the field in this one. Braden Fugate is second. Third is the 75 of Miles Dubert. Brian Norton is fourth, and John David Duffier running fifth, but trying to fend off the 4E of Trent Elliott. Here comes Braden Fugate getting near the left rear quarter panel of the 18, nearly to the left side door of your leader, Joey Tanner, as Fugate, like he did earlier in heat race action, digging on the inside. In fact, Fugate and Tanner, your front row starters, were your heat race winners, and Braden Fugate will seize the lead from Joey Tanner down the back straightaway. Tanner trying to take it back. Here comes the 75 of Miles Dubert as lap number 4 is going to be led by the 88, the young man out of Bandon, Braden Fugate. Treble on the back straightaway, the 7 of Brian Norton. Norton will spin on the back chute, and that will result in our first yellow of this main event. And the big question is, was lap number 4 completed with everybody in the running order? If that is not the case, it is going to be Joey Tanner back to the race lead, and it looks like that is what is being shown according to the electronic scoring system. And so Fugate is going to have to hunt his way back to the front past Tanner. All right, so Joey Tanner resumes the race lead, catching a major break. Braden Fugate is second. Third is Miles Dubert, then John David Duffier, and rounding up the top 5 will be the 4E of Trent Elliott. Chris Biggs is 6th. 7th, the 7W of Richard Wallace, then Chuck Christian, followed by Brian Norton. So 3 laps complete. We've got 22 to go. Joey Tanner leads the field as it's the Delaware double file restart behind him. Set to go green as they roar out of turn number 4. Braden Fugate and Miles Dubert right behind Tanner. Here we go. Dubert, a great restart in the white and blue number 75, immediately goes up into position number 2 as the 18 of Joey Tanner slides close to that at back straightaway wall in the 75 of Miles Dubert, trying to dig underneath the 18 of Tanner. Tanner holds on to lead lap number 4 as we've got 21 laps to go. Miles Dubert is second, Braden Fugate running in third, but maybe under some immense pressure from the 4E of Trent Elliott as Elliott subscribes to the inside and now is going to pull away from the 88 of Braden Fugate, holding himself in the third place position. Miles Dubert trying to keep within a shadow's length of the 18 of Joey Tanner up front as John David Dufier rounds up the top 5 in the white 42 JD. Chris Biggs is 6, Richard Wallace, followed by the 7 of Brian Norton, the 42-2 Chuck Christian, the rest of the running order. All cars on the racetrack are on the lead lap. The only driver not running on the track in the original starting lineup is Bob Deese that pulled off after lap 2. Lap number 7 getting worked on this time around as we get closer and closer to the halfway mark. Miles Dubert trying to make a move on Joey Tanner, but Joey Tanner has an answer for each and every challenge by Dubert. Trent Elliott in car number 4E looking to rocket his way towards the front. He started this one in position number 5. He's already up to third and looking to seek more. John David Dufier remains in P5, followed by Biggs. Then it's Norton, Wallace, and Christian. The 18 of Joey Tanner is now starting to approach the tail end of the lead lap column, and it's the 42-2 of Chuck Christian. Does the last car on the lead lap scratch? That's the 7W Richard Wallace as John David Dufier, your 5th place car, is pulled off the track, and that'll give it to the 20 of Chris Biggs. Chris Biggs under quite a bit of smoke as Joey Tanner navigates to the inside of Richard Wallace, and the 42-2 of Chuck Christian next in his path. Tanner simply making the pass on the inside. Here comes the 75 of Dubert. Dubert trying to hold on to the runner-up position as the 4E of Trent Elliott trying to make something happen. Tanner finally able to get around Chuck Christian. So will Dubert as trouble, your 5th place car, and smoldering a little bit is the 20 of Chris Biggs, who was running 5th at the time, and that's the second time we will see yellow. And we have 12 laps complete according to the scoring system via My Race Pass, and that means 13 laps to go in this one, and so we're just about past the halfway mark. Joey Tanner leads, Miles Dubert is second, third is Trent Elliott, Braden Fugate is 4th, and now moving back into the top 5 will be the 7 of Brian Norton. Now a matter of cars that are a lap down, there's just one, and it looks like it's the 42-2 of Chuck Christian. So the last cars on the lead lap will be the 7W Richard Wallace and the 20 of Chris Biggs. So Joey Tanner, he's been able to stretch the lead out some. He's also felt some heat from second place on back. We'll see what he can do here in this upcoming restart. 14 laps to go as we have 11 scored complete. 11 down and 14 to go. This one has been all Tanner as far as laps completely scored. He briefly was overthrown on lap 4 the first time they tried to complete lap number 4, but a yellow flag helped him out and got him back to the race lead, and so that would put Fugate back to second. Fugate currently running in 4th in that gray, yellow, and blue number 88. And not quite ready to get back to green flag action.
And now we're getting word that the 42.
And sounds like, according to the local PA system, John David Dufier, who pulled off. Under that last green flag run, never made it all the way back to the pit, so they want to make sure the exit road, which is a long exit road now these days, you can kind of see them there if you're tuning in on Dirt Oval TV, as the SUV. Well, now you can't quite see him in picture,
All right, let's do a little crowd poll. I love doing these. How many of you guys out
there's
there,
the
let me know.
42
I've
of
got thick
Duffier
glass next to me, so you gotta
as
be
he's
loud
requiring a
if you
little bit of
want me to know how
assistance
you
to make
feel,
it
but
back
how many of you guys
into
think
the
18
pits.
of Joey Tanner's gonna hold it down
And
for
so,
another
quick
15 laps,
correction,
take
there
the win?
are a couple of cars a lap down here. Richard Wallace and the 42-2 Chuck Christian, they are laps down.
There is a guy that's sitting in second
Joey
place right
Tanner,
now,
Miles
driving
Dubert,
75
Trent
car. How many
Elliott,
of
he
you out there are
restarts
pulling for
third in the
Miles
4E. We'll see what he can do. Can he quickly dispatch the 75 at Dubert and go on the attack after Tanner?
Find out over the next 14 laps of
Green flag is going to wave this time out of turn number 4, and we return back to CDA late model racing action here at Southern Oregon Speedway. And just like that, Trent Elliott around the outside. He goes up to second and looking to do a same move on Joey Tanner to get the race lead. Side by side coming off of turn number 4 at the start-finish line. It's Joey Tanner by a mere 0.281 seconds over Trent Elliott. Elliott trying to build the momentum, but now Elliott getting a little bit of a look from the 75 of Miles Dubert. Braden Fugate is 4th, 5th, and last car in the top 5. That is Brian Norton in the 7. Chris Biggs, in the 20 is the 6th and final car on the lead lap. And now Elliott, who is just about to go after the race lead, is under fire by the 75 of Miles Dubert. Dubert has the position as we have just 11 laps to go. It's going to be 10 away from the drop of the checkered this time by. Chris Biggs in car number 20 pulls off of the racetrack. That leaves us with just 5 race cars on the lead lap and 7 total negotiating this racetrack. 1.220 seconds is what separates, as far as time is considered, your top 2 drivers, and it's Joey Tanner who's starting to pull away even farther over a 1.5-second advantage. 9 laps to go. It'll be 8 remaining this time by for the 18 of Joey Tanner. Miles Dubert trying to cut into the distance between himself and your race leader, Joey Tanner. There may be some lap traffic sprinkled into the mix here, but Dubert on this green flag run that is developing, trying to catch up as close as possible, though, before they get up to the 7W of Wallace. As the 88 of Braden Fugate putting some pressure on the 4E of Trent Elliott. This is a race for third if it develops. This time around, 6 laps remain, and the 75 of Dubert has pulled within less than a second of Joey Tanner for the race lead. Tanner can't make the proper clearance around Richard Wallace and the 7W. Here comes Dubert in the white and blue 75, hoping for maybe one more holdup so that he can make a strike, as we've got trouble. The 7 of Brian Norton will spin in turns 1 and 2. And something happened with Braden Fugate in the 88. The 88 of Fugate was slow on the back straightaway. That is our 3rd stoppage of this race. We've got, it looks like, right around 5 laps to go. Joey Tanner now will not have to worry about lap traffic, at least for this moment in time. So 19 laps to go. 19 laps complete. 6 laps to go. Joey Tanner, Miles Dubert, Trent Elliott, your lead lap contenders. Braden Fugate is the last car on the lead lap in car number 88. He is 4th, as the 42-2 Chuck Christian is a lap down, as is the 7W of Richard Wallace.
Once again,
We'll see how this one gets sorted out as far as the finish is concerned. Now looks like the 88 of Fugate being put in his proper position. Delaware double file restart, set to go green this time by Joey Tanner, your leader. Then it's Miles Dubert, Trent Elliott, Braden Fugate, your 4 lead lap contenders. Green flag, here we go, and again Elliott, who on the last restart was able to quickly get around the 75 at Dubert, will do so again. It'll be 5 to go if everybody can complete this time around. Is now Elliott taking a course more lower than previously to try and get around the 18 of Joey Tanner. 20 laps complete and 5 to go as the 18 of Joey Tanner continues to lead. And Tanner rockets off of the second corner down the back straightaway. And it's going to be 4 laps to go for the 18 of Joey Tanner. And again, Miles Dubert coming to call against the 4E of Trent Elliott for second. Braden Fugate is fourth. As Wallace in the 7W and the 42-2 of Christian, they are laps down behind Fugate. Now we might have a 3-car fight for second, as Joey Tanner has opened it up to nearly 2 seconds ahead of second place Trent Elliott. 2 laps to go this time around. If everyone can make it past the start-finish line, Joey Tanner is led from the onset, except with that brief scare around lap 4, where the pass was negated due to the caution. And white flag is going to be coming out very shortly for the 18 of Joey Tanner. And one more trip around the speedway for Joey Tanner as Braden Fugate is off the pace in car number 88. Tanner will be the first to the wire. He's the first one to see the white bed sheet flown in the air. And for the second time in 2021 at Southern Oregon Speedway is a perfect 2 for 2. Joey Tanner will win in the Ray Mitchell and family-owned number 18. Trent Elliott finishes second. Miles Dubert will finish in position number 3 for your lead lap contenders. And unofficially, the rest of the finishing order, Richard Wallace finishes 4th, Chuck Christian 5th, Braden Fugate 6th, Brian Norton 7th, Chris Bix 8th, John David Dufier 9th, and Bob Deese will finish in 10th. That is unofficial. As our first of 4 main events gets completed, the Dusty's Transmissions IMC Northern Sport Mods are coming up, and we're going to deliver that starting lineup here in just a moment. Starting inside front row, the 25-lap feature for the Dusty's Transmissions IMC Northern Sport Mods will be the Kevin's Auto and Fleet Services number 44 out of Chico, California, Tyler Rogers, to his outside the 26 at Dustin Comer from Springfield in the Shockwave Shock Services car. Row 2 inside will be the 7S of Steven Sanders out of Brookings in the Brookings Glass-sponsored machine. He lines up third. Jordan Broughton, your defending track champion in the Quinch Andridge Car Wash number 84 from Central Point, lines up 4th. Mike Medell in the 30M in the Icon Loeb Lawn Care and Cleaning 30M from Medford will line up 5th. Starting in 6th, in Wairika, California these days, the A&J Farms 21TP, Travis Peary. Lining up 7th, it'll be his son in the Blue Frog Realty number 21P out of Wairika, California, Ryan Peary. While 8th on the starting grid, Brandon Wilson out of Medford in the Rogue Tattoo 12W. Lining up 9th, car number 69, Dwayne Melvin out of Medford. Hoppus Motorsports has primary sponsorship, although the 7W and the Jonky Heating and Air Conditioning car from Medford, Wyatt Westfall, he lines up 10th. In 11th from Brookings, the Slingshot Performance number 2M, that's Matt Sanders, to his outside out of Wairika, California, the 08 of Ryder Boswell and his Blissful Moments photography machine. Starting 13th, the 12I, the O'Reilly's Auto Parts, a Central Point car from Brookings, that's Isaac Sanders, while lining up outside of him from Medford and car number 95, Rich McCoy from Central Point in the Rap Racing Enterprises number 95 lines up 14th. Starting 15th will be car number 5. That's Nick Berryhill out of Central Point in his Fred's Rod Shop machine. The 11J of Jesse Merriman from Central Point. The Blue Dog RV car starts in 16th. Starting in 17th, 9th row inside, the triple nickel of Joby Shields from Gold Hill, just-in-time appliance repair, while the 7-7 from Medford Jansen Nips. 10th row inside, the 14 junior of Billy Ritchie. Billy Ritchie drives the Jonky Heating and Air Conditioning 14 junior, and he is from Central Point. Outside of Ritchie and lining up in 20th, the 25P Braxton Possinger. Braxton Possinger out of Medford in the Jonky Heating and Air Conditioning car. 11th row inside, starting in 21st starting place position, Bartley Foster, the young man out of Central Point in his TMP Oilfield Services machine, and Chance Gordon in the 18J from Eagle Point Sponsored by Dean's Diesel Repair. Scheduled to bring up the rear of the Hoppus Motorsports number 42 from Eagle Point, Jacob Hoppus. He will line up all by his lonesome in row number 12 and start 23rd place. 23 cars, 25 laps. Your Dusty's Transmissions, IMC Northern Sport Mods about to get underway. Former winners of this race. There's only been one driver that has been a repeat winner of this event. Jordan Broughton winning in 2019 and 2017. Matt Dusty won in 2015. Todd Cooper from Yuba City, California in 2016. Fred Ryland of Brentwood, California winning in 2018. And of course, last year not contested due to the COVID-19 restrictions. If you like the Speedway Motors IMCA weekly racing program, be sure and tune in to IMCA.tv tomorrow night as there's Raceway Park in Jefferson, South Dakota, Benton County Speedway in Benton, Iowa, Dubuque Fairgrounds Speedway in Iowa, Buffalo River Speedway in Glendon, Minnesota, the final round of the Tougher Than Dirt Tour at Nodak Speedway in Minot, North Dakota, and Estevan Motor Speedway in Estevan, Saskatchewan. Will all be live lap-to-lap coverage on IMC.tv. And then the next cycle for next week starts off Wednesday night at the Beaver, Buena Vista Raceway in Alta, Iowa.
He's taken off in 5th place tonight, Mike Medell.
Also, IMCA.tv, you can find the Speedway Motors IMCA Super Nationals fueled by Casey's, as well as the Harris Clash at Deer Creek Speedway in Spring Valley, Minnesota. The IMCA.tv Winter Nationals at Cocobah Speedway in Somerton, Arizona. The Land of 10,000 Lakes 10K.
He's also from Medford. That's Dwayne Melvin.
That will take place at the end of this month at Princeton Speedway, North Central Speedway, and Granite City Motor Park, all in the Land of 10,000 Lakes in the state of Minnesota. You'll also find the AFCO Moment of the Week each and every week on our Facebook page or on IMCA.tv, as well as Getting Up to Speed with Ben Deathridge with some in-depth, up-close and personal interviews with some of your favorite Speedway Motors IMCA weekly racing program drivers. Dirt Oval TV will be presenting plenty of action as well. Cottage Grove Speedway will have a doubleheader weekend next Friday and Saturday. Also, Western Sprint Tour Speed Week Northwest, among other things. The Interstate Sprint Car Series Speed Week, Clay Cup Nationals at Deming Speedway. A whole host of events that Dirt Oval TV will be bringing to you each and every lap. Be sure and buy your pass and tune in. The California and Oregon on the front row. Tyler Rogers, 3 wins this year already. Mentioned 1 at Susanville's Diamond Mountain Speedway and American Valley Speedway in Quincy, both those in Northern California in the Sierra Nevada Mountains, while 2 wins to his 2021 campaign. Dustin Comer out of Springfield. Set to go green next time by Tyler Rogers and Dustin Comer. It's been a few years since Comer has visited Southern Oregon Speedway, while Rogers does have a career victory here in years past. Green flag is going to wave when they exit turn number 4 this time by for the Roger Hodenshield tribute. Tyler Rogers, Dustin Comer, front row. Here we go. Green flag. And it's going to be the 44. Tyler Rogers getting out to the initial race lead. Dustin Comer with the maneuver to the inside. Counterattack from down low. Nearly 3 wide for third as Comer will slip as the 44. Tyler Rogers dominates lap number 1. We'll get it completed in the book. Tyler Rogers leads. Dustin Comer running in second. Travis Peary in position number 3. Steven Sanders is 4th, but here comes Jordan Broughton, the black number 84. Sanders up top. It's Broughton down low. Outside of the top 5 place positions, you've got Ryan Peary, Brandon Wilson, Dwayne Melvin. Then it's Matt Sanders, followed by Ryder Boswell, Mike Medell, Wyatt Westfall, Isaac Sanders, Jansen Nips, Rich McCoy, Jesse Merriman, Nick Berryhill on the front straightaway. A little bit of a get-together between Bartley Foster and Chance Gordon. May have a yellow coming out, and a couple drivers that were battling in the back of the field and Gordon in the 18G and Bartley Foster in the 4B get together, and that'll be our first stoppage of this race. And it looks like we were able to get a couple of laps scored into the books.
Only 3 laps got completed before we go to caution.
So 3 laps down and 22 to go. This will be our first slowdown of this race. Chance Gordon, not a lot of racing experience to his credit. In fact, last year was his first season in competition. He's got a career total of 8 starts, 4 top 10s, average finish 11.75, and he has only got 2 starts, 1 top 10. His average finish here at Southern Oregon Speedway, 11th.
Nearly 1,500.
Yeah, Bartley Foster finished 11th in his one and only start. Looks like I have him recorded in 2019 was the first time that he ran a race here. So this will be his second career feature start here at Southern Oregon Speedway. Tyler Rogers, 60 career starts in Speedway Motors IMCA Weekly Racing Program action, 46 top 5s, 31 top 10s, 8 wins. And his one victory here came in actually a couple of wins here, 2018. His average finish is 3.4. He's only been here 5 times, at least started 5 features, 5 top 5s, 5 top 10s, 4 top 5s, pardon me, and 2 wins to his credit, all here at Southern Oregon Speedway. And last time he visited here, he finished 2nd. That was back in 2019.
They work really hard. They're sore the next.
Travis Peary, the 21 TP, normally the 6P is what you see him driving. Southwest Speedway champion in the IMC Modifieds at Dickinson, North Dakota, 5-time champion at Siskiyou Golden Speedway, including last year, and then the 2010 track champion here in unsanctioned action.
Right now.
In Speedway Motors IMCA
Travis Peary has made his way all the way up to 2nd place.
Weekly Racing Program action, 41 starts, 29 top 10s, 24 top 5s, 6 wins.
With Sanders on his outside in 5th.
Last time he was here was in 2019 with just 1 start where he finished in 17th. Green flag comes back out, and here we go. Tyler Rogers in the 44 goes back out on the offense and tries to push away from the rest of the field as Dustin Comer and car number 26 goes side by side with Travis Peary. Peary to the inside. It's Comer up top. Side by side at the start finish line. Travis Peary in the 21 TP able to hold on to the runner-up position. Jordan Broughton and Dwayne Melvin fighting it out for 4th here as Peary drifts up close to that back straightaway wall, and Comer nearly gets underneath him, and they nearly go 3 wide for 2nd as Rogers continues to pedal away from the rest of the field. Travis Peary 2nd somehow, some way. Jordan Broughton knocking on the door downstairs, as well as making it side by side for a fierce 2-car battle for 3rd with Dustin Comer. Dwayne Melvin rounds up the top 5. Matt Sanders 6th, Ryan Peary 7th, Steven Sanders 8th, 9th is Brandon Wilson 10th, Ryder Boswell in car number 08. Tyler Rogers has put a lap down on the 42 of Jacob Hoppus, and so far lap traffic has not been an issue as we work on lap number 6 this time around. It's 19 laps to go. Chance Gordon, the 18G, is the last car on the lead lap as it looks like Jordan Broughton is able to edge his way out in front of Dustin Comer. Comer nearly into the back straightaway wall, and 26 And he's going to go from 4th place back to about 6th, and that brings along in a 4th and 5th the 69 and Dwayne Melvin, and the 2M of Matt Sanders. Tyler Rogers has hit the rear bumper of the 18G of Chance Gordon. Now he's going to make the outside pass at the 21 TP of Travis Peary, trying to close the gap. It was about 2 seconds or so the difference, as Chance Gordon will spin in the infield, and that will bring out the second yellow of this main event, as Gordon not quite fully out of harm's way. And so this time it looks like we got in the neighborhood of 8 laps complete. And Chance Gordon, the 18G sideways on the front straightaway. It is Tyler Rogers that is showing the way in this one. He had a healthy lead the last time they came around of over a second, although that was starting to close and close quickly, as Travis Peary in the 21 TP of Travis Peary trying to give chase. Jordan Broughton is 3rd. 4th is Dwayne Melvin. 5th is the 2M of Matt Sanders. 6th is Ryan Peary. 7th is Dustin Comer. 8th, Steven Sanders. 9th, the 12W of Brandon Wilson. 10th, the 08 Ryder Boswell. The 7-7 of Jansen Nips, then Isaac Sanders, Mike Medell, the 30M, the 7W Wyatt Westfall, 25P Braxton Posinger, 11J of Jesse Merriman, Billy Ritchie in the 14 Junior. Behind Ritchie, you've got the 555 of Joby Shields, 95 Rich McCoy, 18G of Chance Gordon. All cars are on the lead lap except the 42 of Jacob Hoppus. He has scored 1 lap down.
5 positions in just 7
Matt
laps.
Sanders in car number 2M. Keep a close eye on him. He has had a bit of success this year, winning at Canyon Speedway Park in Peoria, Arizona back in February, and also a winner earlier this year at Siskiyou Golden Speedway. Sanders actually has a couple wins there this year, 2 wins, 3 top 5s, 3 top 10s, and 4 starts. And he has not finished outside the top 5 in his 2 starts here at Southern Oregon Speedway in 2021, sporting a 3.5 average finish so far this year. His career average finish is 5.53. He has 2 career wins, getting one in 2019 and 2018. 10 career top 10s, 13 career top 10 career top 5s, 13 top 10s, and 15 starts. So not terrible when it comes to an average here at this facility. Delaware double file restart coming up for your field. The Dusty's Transmissions, IMCA Northern Sport Mods. 17 starts already this year for Matt Sanders, 15 top 10s, 13 top 10s, and 3 wins.
Trav walks outside to hand somebody 15.
7 laps officially scored complete, and 18 to go.
Jordan Bratton will be in second.
As tonight's race is the 11th start for young Tyler Rogers in 2021. 7 top 10s, 6 top 5s, and 3 main event wins. We'll see if win number 4 at his 3rd different track occurs here tonight. Jordan Broughton, a good restart over Travis Peary down to the inside. Peary trying to hold on up top, and the 3 wide drag race down the back chute as the 2M of Matt Sanders comes to call. Matt Sanders, who started this race in 11th, is now trying to crack into a podium spot. Tyler Rogers has showed the way the whole entire time. Travis Peary is 2nd. He settled down into that position. 3rd is Jordan Broughton. 4th, Matt Sanders. Side by side between Ryan Peary in the 21P and the 69 of Dwayne Melvin. Duking it out is Dustin Comer trying to get into the action and regain some lost ground in the black number 26. Jordan Broughton a little bit on the defense side of things as far as posture is concerned. The 2M of Matt Sanders is raining a lot of heat all over and up on the outside and the inside. Peary in the 21 TP, like a fisherman in a summer string, has cast his rod and trying to reel in his catch. Tyler Rogers currently has a 1.450 luxury of a lead over your second place driver, Travis Peary. Jordan Broughton is third. Matt Sanders getting a good run under Jordan Broughton as Broughton got dangerously close to the front straightaway wall. Matt Sanders and Jordan Broughton still fighting it out. Jacob Hoppus will go down a lap as Rich McCoy in the 95 goes off the top of turns 1 and 2. He's still in that exit lane. No yellows, we're going to stay green. Chance Gordon, the 18G, goes down a lap, and now one lap car is the difference between your top two contenders. Joby Shields in the 555 and the 11J, Jesse Merriman right immediately in front of the blue 44 of Tyler Rogers. It's allowing Peary to reel in slowly but surely Rogers. His third place is still in hot contest between the 2M Matt Sanders and the 84 Jordan Broughton. Right now Matt Sanders has the position secured. We're looking at 10 laps to go. If everybody can make it by this time around. The 21 TP of Travis Peary gets underneath both Shields and Merriman. The 2-lap cars as Billy Ritchie, last car on the lead lap, right immediately in front of your leader, Tyler Rogers. Rogers in the 44 trying to make the pass around the outside of Ritchie. Here comes Travis Peary in the 21 TP trying to make something happen. Although it didn't hold up the 44 of Rogers too awful much, it does allow Travis Peary to be relevant in this one as it's less than half a second between your top two drivers. 9 laps remaining for your race leader, Tyler Rogers, who has been in possession of the race lead the whole entire time. Mike Medell and Braxton Potster in front of him, and just as I say that, Travis Peary to the front. Travis Peary is going to lead lap number 17. Peary is not going to take things easy now that he's got the race lead, as he knows he's got a fast 44 right behind him. Travis Peary, he's still got to deal with Possinger in the 25P, and Possinger off the pace as he gets off the gas and pulls off the racetrack. Wyatt Westfall in the 7W now, right beside your leader, Travis Peary, and behind Peary's the 44, Tyler Rogers. Rogers sees a little bit of some daylight underneath Travis Peary. Peary's quick to close it as he puts a karate chop move as they come out of turn number 4. Now heavy lap traffic coming up still for your leader, Travis Peary's the 18G of Chance Gordon, the 12I, Isaac Sanders, and the 42 of Travis Hoppus, all right in front of your leader, Travis Peary. Peary out of turn number 4 has 1, maybe 2 lap cars between himself and second place, Tyler Rogers. We've got 5 to go. 5 laps remaining for Travis Peary in the 21 TP. Jansen Nips in the 7-7 right in front of Peary. Peary just simply drives underneath them. Travis Peary just a few laps away from the drop of the checkered flag as Rogers in the blue and orange 44 is not out of this one yet. The rest of the field it's been a fierce battle for third. Ryan Peary is battling with Matt Sanders. Dustin Comer in car number 26 is fifth. Travis Peary in the 21 TP has 3 lap cars coming up on him, coming up in front of him very, very quickly, as you've got Ryder Boswell, Joby Shields, and Brandon Wilson all in front of him. This could be the defining moment of this race. The Roger Hodenshield tribute could come down to who's better in lap traffic, as Peary's the first one to enter it. He gets around Shields in the triple nickel. Then he gets around Brandon Wilson, but not wasting no time with the slower traffic is the 44 Tyler Rogers. White flag in the air, one more trip around the speedway for Travis Peary. He's won a track championship here in 2010 and multiple track championships, including last year at Siskiyou Golden Speedway and 2018 at Southwest Speedway in Dickinson, North Dakota, and he will win the Roger Hodenshield tribute here at Southern Oregon Speedway. Travis Peary. Tyler Rogers is second. The fight for third will end with the 2M of Matt Sanders in that spot. Fourth, Ryan Peary. And fifth across the line, unofficially, Dustin Comer. Dwayne Melvin 6th, Steven Sanders 7th, Ryder Boswell 8th, Brandon Wilson 9th, Jansen Nips 10th, Isaac Sanders 11th, Wyatt Westfall 12th, Billy Ritchie 13th, Jesse Merriman 14th, Chance Gordon 15th, Joby Shields 16th, Braxton Possinger 17th, Mike Medell 18th, Jordan Broughton 19th, 20th, Rich McCoy 21st, Nick Berryhill 22nd, Bart Foster, and Jacob Hoppus unofficially will finish in 23rd. Travis Peary, who spent a lot of time in the Williston, North Dakota area where he relocated for work and then moved back from his back to his native Siskiyou County. Gets a big win here at Southern Oregon Speedway where he's seen so much success over the years. And we're going to have the Roger Hodenshield tribute coming up. This is scheduled for 30 laps of action for your Sweet Tea IMCA Modifieds.
Something you want to show us?
23 cars will battle it out for what is scheduled 30 laps in this one. The 54 in the Rich and Nikki Bean owned entry, the driver from Klamath Falls, Nick Trenchard, and his Nature's Images machine. Outside of him, Curtis Towns from Cottage Grove in the West End Performance number 24. Lining up third, the 21J out of Rogue River, John DiBenedetti, the Chuck Braceland trucking car. Starting fourth, Jesse Bailey, the Bailey Trucking number 68 out of Central Point. Fifth in the starting grid from Central Point, that's the 73M. Racing in memory of his late mother, Jennifer, Dave Dusty Jr. Dusty's Transmission's the primary sponsor on that machine, while your defending track champion, Zach Fenniger out of Klamath Falls, the Crystal Clear Choice Medical Transport number 88 starts sixth. Lining up seventh out of Manteca, California, in the Hoppus Motorsports 28H, Daryl, he's the second, most definitely getting the Long Tow Award representing the Central Valley, while Jesse Williamson, car number W5 out of Coburg and the Coburg Distillery machine, lines up eighth. Ninth in the starting grid, he won the season opener, and he enters the weekend the point leader from Albany, the Esterly Mentone number 25. They call him the 25 Express. Craig Castle lining up 10th. James Welshon in the 2G out of Shady Cove in the AG Auto and Repair car. Starting in 11th, the 5M, it's another Hoppus Motorsports entry from Springfield, Jake Maiden, while position number 12, the 15 JT of Justin McCready and his Junkie Heating and Air Conditioning entry. Row 7 will be made up of the 34G of Albert Gill from Central Point, AG Auto and Repair. To his outside, it'll be the 30F Central Point's Andy Freeman, the Stevenson Suspensions machine. Row number 8, starting the inside in 15th starting position on the grid, it's the Tanks Concrete Pumping number 42, Paul Culp out of Cresswell, while the Don Romer number 83R, sponsored by Cascade Auto Recycling, the team out of Grants Pass, the driver from Keno, Jeffrey Hudson. Lining up in 17th, the 21, Jeremy Oldie of Klamath Falls, Oldie Motorsports and Midas Brakes and Alignment, his sponsorship, while starting out in 18th, ninth row outside, the 82M of James Anderson and the Anderson Concrete car from Eagle Point. Lining up 19th in the starting spot, it's the 1M of Mark Woggy from Medford, one of the many Hoppus Motorsports sponsored machines. Jeremy DeGroot, the Walsh Trucking, number 3 from Cottage Grove, grids up in position number 20. Tom Elam out of Powers in car number 8, running his V6 engine, will start in 21st. 22nd will be Jimmy Lipke from Wairika and the Paradise Painting Machine. The 64 of Ray Niffen Jr. from White City and his Drager Performance number 64 is scheduled to start in position number 23. And that is your lineup, 23 cars going for a scheduled 30 laps for their main event. Sweet Tea IMCA Modified's about ready to get underway. Nick Trenchard won this race in 2015, then did it back-to-back in 2017 and 18. Mark Woggy, the 2016 winner, the most recent winner, Bobby Hogue of Salinas, California. Unfortunately not here in action, but had a successful outing last night at Ocean Speedway as he got the job done in the Joe Glade-owned number 2 entry in Watsonville at Ocean Speedway. Well, whether you're at home, in the shop, on the road, wherever you are, get up and make some noise on Dirt Oval TV, IMC.TV, and Speed Sport TV for your Sweet Tea IMC Modified main event, the Roger Hodenshield tribute. Let them hear ya.
He drives the number 24. He'll be the outside pole sitter tonight. That's Curtis Towns. Taking off in third place from Rogue River, he drives the 21J.
Track championships, as far as when Speedway Motors IMCA weekly racing program competition began in 2013, there's not been really too much dominance, if there was any, It was Albert Gill winning in 2014, 2015, then again in 2018. Besides that, it has been a different champion in the last 4 seasons. 2013, Dustin Knight won it. Mark Waggy 2016, Jesse Bailey 2017, and most recently Zach Feniger in 2019. Not only does tonight have huge implications on the championship for Southern Oregon Speedway, but it also has implications for the KM Performance Oregon State Championship. Just 4 points separate the 24 Curtis Towns, your outside pole sitter, and the driver that will be lining up in position number 11, Jake Maiden, who trails him by just, as we mentioned, 4 markers. And that is simply just 4 positions. It's a point per position, a point drop-off per position. 40 for the win, 39 for second, 38 for third, so on and so forth. There's some sort of issue with Jeremy DeGroot in car number 3. He is going to get pushed off the racetrack.
Justin McCready will roll off in 12th place tonight from Phoenix.
And that is unfortunate to see for the newcomer to IMCA modified racing action.
13th. He drives the 34G car. You know him well as
and so that may whittle things down to a 22-car field. Although he's only won one Speedway Motors IMCA Weekly Racing Program sanctioned championship, do not count out the 1M of Mark Waggy, as he's a 7-time track champion here. Most recent championship in 2016, done so by just 1 mere point. The guy that he was able to beat is in the field, James Welshon in the 2G. Set to go green here shortly, Nick Trenchard looking for his 4th career Roger Hotenshield Tribute win. And Curtis Towns, who is outside looking for his 2nd win at 2021. Trenchard, Towns, front row. Here we go. Green flag's going to fly, and we're underway. Off to a good start as everybody clears the front straightaway into turns 1 and 2. It's going to be Nick Trenchard trying to battle with Curtis Towns, but Towns with the upper hand is Curtis Towns, and car number 24 will be your leader of lap numero 1. 1 down and 24 to go, and car number 24 sets the pace of the 54, and Nick Trenchard is 2nd. Side by side for 3rd, Zach Feniger on the high side as John DiBenedetti down low in the 21J. The 5W of Jesse Williamson is running in 5th. 3 wide for position number 2 is DiBenedetti bouncing up and down, trying to etch his way up into 2nd, but Zach Feniger give him the nod to the runner-up position. Nick Trenchard runs in 4th. Still, it's the W5, Jesse Williamson 5th. 5 for 6 between Craig Castle in the 25 and Robert and the 28H of Hughes. Terrell Hughes the 2nd is Feniger and DiBenedetti trying to make it from a 2-car race for 2nd to a 3-car fight for the lead. Towns just has a brief advantage of 0.311 seconds as Feniger trying to navigate on the inside of Towns. Towns, the first ever KMJ Performance Oregon State champion and now current points leader in the same category, is trying to fend off the defending track champion Zach Feniger in car number 88, and one of the best to wheel a modified in the Western United States, John DiBenedetti. Feniger goes to the inside, Feniger to the race lead on the back chute. Looking to complete lap number 6 this time around. Curtis Towns in car number 24 trying to reclaim the race lead, but Zach Feniger will be the first one to the stripe. We have 6 laps down and 19 scheduled to go, as this one's showing 25 laps in distance. Feniger in the 88 quickly approaching the tail end of the lead lap field, as the 8 of Tom Elam and the 42 Paul Culp will go a lap down. Also, same case is going to be, I believe that's the 15 or the 34G, pardon me, of Albert Gill. 2 lap cars between 1st and 2nd as John DiBenedetti goes immediately to the inside of the 24 Curtis Towns to try and pick up position number 2. There has been a little bit of an obstacle cone that has been laid down on the racetrack. We stay green, and Albert Gill in car number 34G goes a lap down. Still 2 lap cars between positions 1 and 2. Feniger trying to negotiate the 4Y of Jimmy Lipke, as it's going to be DiBenedetti into the inside of the 34G of Gill, and the 42 of Culp and the 4Y of Lipke are right in front of the 21J of DiBenedetti. third now belongs to the 54 in Nick Trenchard. Fourth is the W5 of Jesse Williamson. Daryl Hughes the second. Going to do battle with Curtis Towns for fifth for position number 5. As Fettinger trying to negotiate the 64 of Ray Niffen Jr. Here comes John D. As John D. Benedetti in the 21J. Right behind the 88 of Fettinger. Jesse Williamson hard in the back straightaway wall. Your fourth place car is going to cycle out about 6th. As Fettinger to the inside of Ray Niffen Jr. trying to make the proper clearance. And he's got 3 cars going 3 wide. Right in front of him is the butter and the biscuit between Niffen and Culp. It's going to be the 21J of D. Benedetti. Here comes D. Benedetti surging on the inside. And D. Benedetti, Claymaker out of turn number 4, is going to lead lap number 12. John D. Benedetti now trying to create some space between himself and Zach Fettinger, but he's got Mark Woggy, Jeffrey Hudson, Jeremy Oldie, and the 15 JT of Justin McCready all right in front of him. As Jesse Williamson slowing to a halt in turn number 2, we go yellow. Holy Toledo, what a start to this one. Is Jesse Williamson in the W5 having a bit of rough luck. He hit extremely hard on the back straightaway wall. 12 laps, it looks like it's been scored complete, and it's the first time we will see a yellow in this one. John D. Benedetti claimed the lead on lap 12, so just barely able to retain the lead, because if we would have reverted a couple laps more, it would be the 80 to Fettinger showing the way. Jesse Williamson, who started towards the front, no slouch when it comes to racing in the Pacific Northwest, 4-time Wild West Modified Shootout champion, 6-time Cottage Grove Speedway Modified Nationals champ, former Northwest Modified Nationals winner up at Grays Harbor Raceway in Elma, Washington, former winner of the Lon Skinner Memorial here, the Bill Mills Memorial at Madras, and the Topless 100 at Sunset Speedway Park. But John D. Benedetti in the 21J is now the pace setter. 12 down, 13 to go, as it shows on the scoring system. And that almost brings us past the halfway mark in this one. There was a couple of cones that got out on the racetrack. Regardless, we kept green, and they were assassinated by several cars, and they are flatter than pancakes, but have been picked up by some of the race officials. John D. Benedetti in Speedway Motors IMCA weekly racing action. He has 2 wins to his credit in 14 top 5s, 21 starts, and 21 top 10s and 35 starts. Has a win in 2018 and a win in 2015. And both those wins, if we can, though they were here at Southern Oregon Speedway. His average finish at this racetrack is 9.93 in Speedway Motors IMCA weekly racing program action, so not too bad. Only started once in 2021 this year, and he finished 9th. In 2019, only a couple of starts, and had 1 top 5, 2 top 10s in those 2 starts. Zach Fettinger restarts second. Nick Trenchard is third. Daryl Hughes the second is fourth. Fifth is the 5M of Jake Maiden. Curtis Towns is sixth. Jesse Bailey seventh. Eighth is going to be James Welshon. Craig Castle in car number 25 is 9th. Correction, it's the 73M of Dave Dusty Jr. that is 9th. As we do have a couple cars that are laps down. 34G of Albert Gillen between the 68 of Bailey and the 2G of Welshon. They are laps down. He is laps down, as well as the 64 Ray Niffen Jr. 10th is the 25 Craig Castle. 11th is Andy Freeman. Tom Elam has scored a lap down in the 8. 15 JT. Justin McCready is still on the lead lap. Then you've got the 83R of Jeffrey Hudson. Those were all drivers about to be placed lap down. Jeremy Oldie, Mark Woggy is the last car on the lead lap in car number 1M. And count him right about 14th place or so, give or take. John DiBenedetti, 21J, looking to open up his winning account for 2021. Spent some time down in Arizona earlier this year.
A couple more laps before we're back under green. Remember, there's only going to be 13 laps to go.
His best finish of the season was here on May 29th, a 9th place finish. Made the final night of the Superstition Showdown at Arizona Speedway in Queen Creek and made 2 out of the 3 shows at the Wild Wings Shootout at that same facility in late January. Mentioned Zach Feniger does have a win to his credit.
30 laps tonight instead of 25, so we get a little bit of extra racing for
Here at Southern Oregon Speedway. That was August 12, 2017. Actually wins on June 16th, July 7th, July 21st of 2018. Was 4th here on May 29th.
Lights out, which means
Finished 11th at Cottage Grove Speedway, 7th and 4th at Diamond Mountain Speedway in Susanville, California. Race officials confirming this is a 30-lap race. That is what they were told earlier. So was briefly confused there when my race pass showed 25 and a great restart for Zach Feniger. Nonetheless, we're 12 laps into this race, so 18 laps remaining. Zach Feniger to the front in lap number 13. Count it back to car number 88, Feniger. Trying to close this thing out. Here comes Nick Trenchard with a second wind in his sails in the 54 in. His trouble striking on the front stretch as we've got a couple cars getting together. And yellow flag maybe coming out here. And there's the yellow, my goodness. 42 Paul Culp was involved, as well as the 8 of Tom Elam. 21 at Jeremy Oldie. Yeah, that is the second stoppage of this race, and holy Toledo. Everyone doing a great job heads up driving as the 42 of Culp and the 21 of Oldie were trying to turn hard to the left to straighten their cars out, but unable to do so.
John DiBenedetti still retains the lead here. Zach Feniger in the 88 still in second place with Nick Trenchard in third.
14 laps complete. And Feniger going to have to surrender the lead as his pass is negated as we have 13 laps complete, 17 to go. Nick Trenchard is third. Darrell Hughes, the second, restarts fourth. And it's been a little bit of back and forth all year long between these two drivers with the track championship at Cottage Grove and the KMJ Performance Oregon State title. Curtis Towns on the 24 is now being shown in front of the 5M of Jake Maiden.
A quick look through your lineup. Zach Feniger has been moved to the lead. John
Well, correction, they are going to rule that Zach Feniger is indeed the race leader. Zach Feniger's pass is not negated. He's been reinstated as the front runner, so John DiBenedetti now going to have to be in the position of playing catch-up.
And James Welshon rounding out the top 10.
Nick Trenchard third, Darrell Hughes the second, fourth, Jake Maiden is fifth. Still sorting out a car or two here, so apologies for those of you listening on Dirt Oval TV, IMC.TV, and Speed Sport TV if we're calling a little bit of some incorrect lineups for the restart order. It was only able to get about a lap in since we last saw the yellow. So we'll see if we can have this another long extended green flag run. They went 12 laps nonstop. We'll see if they can do it the rest of the distance. So looking for 17 more to get completed. Jake Maiden restarts fifth, and it's Curtis Towns sixth. Dave Dusty Jr. is seventh. Jesse Bailey is eighth. Ninth, Craig Castle. 10th, Jeffrey Hudson. James Welshon, Andy Freeman, Mark Woggy. I believe that is it as far as lead lap contenders are concerned, as we are getting back to green flag action. out of turn number 4 this time around. Zach Feniger mashes the throttle, and we're back underway. Nearly 3 wide for second is Di Benedetti going to take the high road. Doesn't want to bother with battling with Trenchard and Hughes, as he's got one goal in mind, and that is to get back to the front of the 88. Crossover move from the 21Js. Di Benedetti, Claymaker out of turn number 4, gets to the front. John Di Benedetti in the blue and orange, number 21J, will lead lap number 14. This time it is going to count. Zach Feniger is second, Darrell Hughes the second, third, Nick Trenchard fourth, Dave Dusty Jr., a magnificent run for the 73M, is up to fifth. Jake Maiden is sixth, seventh is Jesse Bailey, eighth James Welshon's ninth, Curtis Townsend 10th. It's a 3-car tussle, but right now Andy Freeman advantage. Darrell Hughes the second, looking for his first win in 2021. He's come oh so close a couple of times, including a few trips down to Cocobah Speedway in Somerton, Arizona. Could tonight be the night that he strikes pay dirt as he tries to negotiate the 88 of Zach Feniger. Feniger a little sideways coming off of the 4th turn, but nonetheless is trying to do his absolute best to gun down the 21J, Di Benedetti. Di Benedetti, you can see, kicking the dust up and getting his right side as close as possible, at least in turns 1 and 2, up against that retaining wall, trying to extend his lead. Right now it's a healthy 1.240 seconds. Top definitely starting to come in the first set of corners as Hughes is able to overtake the 88 of Zach Feniger to move into the runner-up spot. Now Hughes is going to try and run and gun the 21J of Di Benedetti, but trying to get his rhythm developed as the 88 of Zach Feniger trying to get back in front of the 28H. Nick Trenchard remains in 4th, and now running in the top 5 is the 68 of Jesse Bailey. Lap traffic is now coming back in the game as the 8 of Tom Elam is operating in the bottom of the racing surface. We are 19 laps now, make it 20 laps if everybody can make it this time by 20 down, and 10 to go. Scratch that as Mark Woggy into the back straightaway wall. Heavy hit to the 1M. I believe it was the 1M of Woggy, and we do have a car that is spun. The 50, is that the 54 in of Nick Trenchard? Trenchard, 3-time winner of this race, is pointed in the incorrect direction, and my goodness, what a tough break for him as he was running deep in the top 5. Third yellow of this race, John Di Benedetti shows the way. Darrell Hughes and Zach Feniger, a spirited fight for second between those two drivers.
Feniger in third, and now Jesse Bailey has worked his way. He had slipped all the way back to
So 19 laps complete. We have 11 to go in this 30-lap feature. And Nick Trenchard out of the car and looks like suffering some significant damage towards his right front, and a heartbreaker for that young man, as he's won some big races at this racetrack, the most winningest driver since Speedway Motors IMCA Weekly Racing Program competition came in 2013. 2-time track champion at Siskiyou Golden Speedway, 2015, 2017. 4-time winner of the Northwest Modified Nationals up at Grays Harbor Raceway in Elma. Won the Lon Skinner Memorial Race here. And he's the all-time winningest driver of this one with 3 victories. Di Benedetti leads. Darrell Hughes the second. He is running in position number 2. In his 2021 season, he's got a lot of racing in, some close finishes. He finished second 3 races in a row at Cocopah Speedway, January 29th, 30th, and March 19th. And after that, he did not finish second. He actually finished third on March 20th, as those March races was the opening weekend of the Wild West Tour.
11 more laps, folks. Don't
Finished third in his most recent race, so that was May 3rd during California Speed Week at Merced Speedway, where he's a track champion back in 2018.
Within a half mile of the track, tuned into 106.1
Set to go green next time by.
Hear the trophy presentation interviews.
Hughes has never won here before. He's only got 1 top 5. 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, and about 4 or so starts as we're going back to green flag action. Zach Feniger third, Jesse Bailey fourth, Jake Maid in the top 5, green flag, and here we go, 11 laps remain as Hughes goes from the inside. He's been very effective down low as Di Benedetti trying to reclaim the lead as he has lost it down the backstreet, but Di Benedetti is a long game racer. He gets that momentum swinging in his favor, trying to beat out Hughes at the start-finish line. It's going to be Darrell Hughes leading lap number 20. 10 laps ago is the 28H of Darrell Hughes the second, trying to outduel John Di Benedetti. They nearly drag race down the back straightaway. It's Jesse Bailey third, and side by side for fourth between Zach Feniger and Jake Maiden. It's Hughes with a little bit of an advantage as Di Benedetti hits the wall and sends some sparks shuddering into the night sky. Hughes, though, has about maybe a car length or so advantage as, oh my, a big hit on the back straightaway for the 21J, Di Benedetti. Di Benedetti keeps his foot in the gas at the 28H of Hughes, still navigates the bottom, but as you can see, there's just clay being shredded and kicked up into the air. And it's a matter of missing some of the ruts, the bumps, and the rumblies. Finessing the throttle on the inside. It's starting to dry up and show a little bit of blackness on the inside. Darrell Hughes the second nonetheless leads as the 21J, hustling on the high side and sawing on the wheel. John Di Benedetti trying to get back to the front. We are 6 laps away from the drop of the checkered flag as Jesse Bailey has come to life in car number 68. There is some lap traffic that is going to come into the scene here shortly. They are all navigating on the bottom of the racetrack, and talking about the 8 of Tom Elam and the 64 Ray Niffen Jr. John Di Benedetti, as the green flag run develops, is getting faster and faster on the high side, although that lap Hughes was able to put about half a second of some distance ahead of the 21J. Elam, just as I said, he was working on the bottom, and oh no, your race leader gets bounded up in turns 3 and 4, and something is wrong with the 28H of Hughes. Hughes off the pace. It's going to be Di Benedetti back to the front. Lap number 26, pardon me, counting to Di Benedetti. Hughes tries to gather it up as Jesse Bailey, that is John Di Benedetti's brother-in-law, is now the current runner-up. Jake Maiden has worked his way up into third. Fourth is Zach Feniger, and Darrell Hughes, he may have a busted right front as that thing is looking all sorts out of whack, at least when he enters turn number 1. Despite the ailment, he is up into position number 4 as Mark Woggy has come to a halt on the front straightaway. And holy Toledo, not sure if the right front is busted or what is going on. It looks like it's leaning a little bit more in than it should. And that's Darrell Hughes, who was your leader. And this is going to set things up for a late race caution. 27 down and 3 to go. Mark Woggy, the cause of the 4th stoppage of this race. So John Di Benedetti, Jesse Bailey, the brother-in-laws, face one another here in the final 3 laps. Jake Maiden is third. Fourth, Zach Feniger. Darrell Hughes is fifth. James Welshon has been able to work his way up into position number 5. And Welshon was not one of those crack the whip cars.
How many of you guys are excited for this race to the finish? We only got 3 laps left. Those front 3 cars are right.
Correction, he was. He actually started in 10th.
Who is it going to be? We don't know, but we know one of them is going to get $2,000 at the end.
Jake Maiden was not a crack the whip car, so he started outside of the redraw. He started this one 11th and now possesses third. Nick Trenchard on the hook. Unfortunate to see the 3-time winner of the Roger Hodenshield Tribute having to end things early. Beyond the top 5, you have the 73M of Dave Dusty Jr. He will restart 6th. Craig Castle is 7th. Andy Freeman, who started this race 14th, is 8th. Curtis Towns is 9th. And I believe still last car on the lead lap is
3 laps to go. 3 laps to decide
the 10 of Towns. That is highly, highly unofficial.
We saw Darrell Hughes take the lead away from John Di Benedetti, but this time when he takes off, he's going to be all the way back in 5th place. Not figured out. John Di Benedetti is going or the outside as that
Jesse
place car,
Bailey,
he gets the choice.
your current runner-up, running in second. He's got 5 wins here, including 2 in 2019. Already for 2021, Jesse Bailey has just a couple of starts.
Now that we have some of this side-by-side racing going on.
He's got 1 top 5, 2 top 10s in 2 starts. His average finish is 7th. And hard to believe that even just as short as 24 hours ago, this place was being pelted by rain. And it would have been oh so easily to call this one off, but some excellent and gorgeous weather tonight. Well, this morning, this afternoon, very warm despite being a little bit on the humid side. Is getting you up to speed with Jesse Bailey, a 9th at Antioch Speedway on the New Year's Day weekend show on January 2nd, and his most recent main event performance 5th here on May 29th. 3 laps to sort this one out. Out of turn number 4, John DiBenedetti gets him back to green. Bailey to the inside as they nearly collide down on the front straightaway. DiBenedetti quick to close the door on Bailey on the front straightaway. Jake Maiden sees the opportunity to move up in a second. Maiden just has 1 more position to go. DiBenedetti going back into his comfortable spot, and that is the high side of the racing surface as here comes Zach Venniger working his way back up into 3rd. Jesse Bailey is 4th, and it's a 3-car dogfight for 5th between James Welshon, Craig Castle, and Dave Dusty Jr. As definitely Darrell, he is the second, is a wounded animal, and he's going to pull it in the infield. Just a couple laps to go for John DiBenedetti as they come across the wire. It is an advantage of 1.076 seconds over Jake Maiden. Maiden trying to get in a good rhythm as DiBenedetti continues to operate on the high side of the racetrack, as does the 5M of Maiden. White flag is going to be shown and thrown. Just 4 turns left for the 21J DiBenedetti. Here comes Maiden. He's cut the lead in half, and Maiden's going to blow the top. Maiden will get sideways. And coming down to the checkered flags, it looks like we're going to finish this one. It's going to be John DiBenedetti, your 2021 winner of the Roger Hodden Shield Tribute. Fight for second, coming down to the wire. Zach Vendinger will edge out. The 68 of Jesse Bailey. James Welshon finishes 4th. Dave Dusty Jr. 5th. Craig Castle 6th. Curtis Town 7th. Andy Freeman 8th. Jake Maiden unofficially 9th. Albert Gill 10th. Jeremy Oldie 11th. Paul Kolb 12th. Ray Niffen Jr. 13th. Tom Elam 14th. Daryl Hughes the 2nd 15th. Nick Trenchard 16th. Mark Waggy 17th. Jeffrey Hudson 18th. Jesse Williamson 19th. Justin McCready 20th. James Anderson 21st. Jeremy DeGroot will be scored 22nd as the celebratory donuts in the infield. The 21J John DiBenedetti opens up his winning account, and he will become, since 2015, the 4th different winner of this race. And a huge win for that race team. We've still got 1 more race left in the program. The Hornets are going to be coming up. 15 laps the scheduled distance, and it looks like the 21J running really hot and some steam being let out.
Okay, folks, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to do trophy presentations right now. Right after that, we still have 1 more race on the night. The Hornets will have a 10-lap
As he's
race
behind the
after
grader.
Trophy presentations are over. If you're
Well, a very happy John DiBenedetti is just listening to Cameron, the local announcer here at Southern Oregon Speedway. So they're going to do trophy presentations now. They're going to get those out of the way, and then they're going to run the 15-lap Hornet main after this. So the 221s in Speedway Motors IMCA Weekly Racing Program action, getting the job done. The 21J of John D. Benedetti and the 21 TP of Travis Perry, two drivers that have spent a lot of time racing against one another throughout the years at this racing facility. Hitting some pay dirt here at the Roger Hodenshield Tribute.
Give it up again for Mr. John D. Benedetti.
We're going to send it down to your feature winners.
What a freaking race. That racetrack was tough. But hey, man, he just had to get up on the wheel. He had to run that top. He had to let the car kind of roll through the bumps. Had to go to the bottom a little bit to kind of get up there to the top too. And then, you know, Zach and I had a great race, and Daryl and I had an awesome race. You know, I kept making mistakes going into Wonder on a restart. I just didn't want to go down to the bumps and risk shoving all the way to the fence. And they had to take that chance because they were second. And they kept getting by me. And I had to keep battling back, and it just worked, man. I mean, I don't know. I just can't say enough for all my sponsors. I got to quit being a promoter for a minute. And, all right, I'll be a promoter. The team, guys, everybody that busted their butts to put this thing in place so you guys could come out and watch, and we could come out here and wheel these race cars, because that was a freaking race. All right, now my sponsors. Everybody that helps on this car, you guys kind of got neglected first part of the year because I was so dedicated to getting this racetrack open. I apologize for that, but I hope this makes up for it. Matt Dusty, the motor in this race car, ladies and gentlemen, I may be wrong, but I believe it was purchased by Mr. Howard Hodenshield. And Matt told me, he goes, I don't want to sell it, I don't want to get rid of it, it's sentimental. Because of Roger and this and that. And I said, well, hey, Matt, are you here? He's here somewhere. He may be in the bottom of the Coors Light bottle, but he's here somewhere. Anyways, the motor was sentimental. He said, man, I don't want to get rid of it, Johnny. It's got four races on it. I'm like, well, mine's got a lot of laps. I said, how about we put your motor in my car, and I go win the Hodenshield.
And $2,000 to go with it.
You know, that's awesome. I really thank all the people that help promote, you know, and really get the money for these shows. It draws cars. We had a good car count, and I hope you guys all had fun, because that's the ultimate goal, is for us to come out here and race hard and have fun and take whatever the racetrack gives us. We didn't put one lick of water on this thing. Mother Nature did 100% of it, and I think if we just back it off just a little bit from what we got, this thing's going to be sick.
Give him a round of applause one more time. Your number one, John D. Benedetti. Get your cutie butt out of that car so we can get some pictures. Miss Perry, great show out there. Who do you want to thank? Your car was running great. You did great, brother.
You know, these two boys right here, Ryan, like this whole sport mod, I run A-mods for 20 years, and I totally retired. Wasn't gonna race anymore. It's all about Ryan and Blake here. Blake runs go-karts, and we changed my A-mod to a sport mod, and it's just sitting there. And I was like, well, maybe just once. So we raced a couple weeks ago in Wairika. Ryan smoked by me. I was like, yeah, I'm retired. I'm good. And then like this 1,000-win deal, I was like, one more time, I'll try it. So, you know, but no, my family, Finley Farms, just everybody helps out. Paradise Bean, PCD Race Cars, and Ryan, I work crazy hours, and Ryan and Blake, they take care of this car, they take care of his car. I show up on Friday, we load stuff up, we go racing. And he's just barely 17 years old, and Blake's 12, and they take care of it all.
Congratulations, $1,000 for first place. You gotta be excited, man.
Yeah, you know, hats off to the track prep guys. They did awesome getting us in shape because it was super soft. So, good job for them, but that $1,000 probably gonna have to buy another pair of shocks.
I love it. Hey, put that up front so we can get some good pictures. Congratulations. My man, let's Joey Tanner. Let's hear it for him, the number $1,000 for first place. Who do you want to thank, brother?
I gotta thank the Mitchell family for letting me drive this. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be racing. I gotta thank Southern Oregon Speedway. I make the drive from Portland 2 weeks now, and it's been a pleasure. I'm gonna be here all year, and I gotta give props to them, man. They're trying their hardest, and they're putting on a good show. The fan count's up, and it's awesome to see all the fans, and the car count's up. So Looking forward to the rest of the year.
Hey, we appreciate all the way from Portland. You're welcome here anytime. Congratulations again. $1,000 for first. Give Joey Tanner a big round of applause. Racing is not over yet. We're going to bring the Hornets out for a 10-lap main. Thank you all once again for showing up for Southern Oregon Motorsports, showing your support. We're going to be back in 2 weeks. We got a great show planned for you. Check us out on SouthernOregonMotorsports.com. Has all of the upcoming events.
All right, so quick correction. This is a 10-lap Hornet main event, 5 cars, and also want to let folks know that with the $2,000 to win Roger Hodenshield tribute, John DiBenedetti will be put on the Fast Shafts All-Star Invitational ballot for that upcoming race at the Speedway Motors IMCA Super Nationals, fueled by Casey's. Lineup for this, it's going to be Brad Martin out of Cottage Grove, or out of Dexter, pardon me. Normally races at Cottage Grove, starts inside pole. Outside of him will be Brittany Scott from Gold Beach. Row 2 inside, Dylan Sauer starts third in the 7D, while the 56 of Daryl Nelson out of Medford starts fourth. And Breed Trickler in the 17 will round up the starting lineup in 5th.
This doesn't really feel like work, just being out here watching racing. This is what I do on my free time. I fixed it. Don't worry, I fixed it. Hey, who wants to see some more racing? We have one more race to go still. We still got some Hornets to do. You don't have to go home.
All right, here they go, rolling out your final race of the night, the Hornets. And it sounds like this division, I believe next year is going to be IMCA sanctioned, so that's going to be great. So it'll be a part of the growing IMCA Sport Compact scene here in the Pacific Northwest, as Willamette Speedway, Sunset Speedway Park, Cottage Grove Speedway, among other tracks, a part of the IMCA Sport Compact competition. It's a great proving ground for some of these drivers that
Okay, folks, one more race. Let's
want
get ready
to
for the
move
Hornets.
up,
Who's ready for 'em?
perhaps
Starting in
into an
first place
IMCA
from
modified,
Dexter,
IMCA
Oregon, that's Brad Martin.
Northern Sport Mod,
From Gold Beach, Oregon,
what
she'll
have
roll
you,
off second
even
in
a
the 18
IMCA
car.
stock car. So it looks like the lineup on the racetrack a little bit different than what was printed out. So Dylan Sauer and Daryl Nelson, your front row starters. And 10 laps is how far we're going to go with this one.
Dylan Sauer. And in the 17 car, we have Breed Trickler. Make a round of applause for all of the Hornets that are out here.
Set to go green out of turn number 4. Final race of the night of the Roger Hodenshield tribute is underway. Dylan Sauer in car number 7D, able to quickly take command of the top spot. These guys have not raced as, oh my, Breed Trickler and the 56 of Daryl Nelson get together. Nelson keeps it going, no yellow. We're going to keep this one green. And your winner of the heat race, Dylan Sauer, leads the field. And just before everyone can complete lap 1, we are going to see the yellow come out. And that is going to be for Daryl Nelson. So
I just want to say I can
10
see you
still
guys
to
out
go.
there, and I love you guys for sticking around and supporting the Hornets. That is super cool.
So Dylan Sauer and Brittany Scott should,
The 17 car will
or pardon me,
go to the back.
Dylan Sauer will still
and
be
we'll
your
get a
inside
complete
pole sitter.
restart.
And we'll figure out who's going to be on the outside pole. I do not think it's going to be the 56 of Daryl Nelson, since he was the caution However, we'll see what race officials rule here, if it's going to be the 18 of Scott or the 17 of Trichler.
Still in the lead. Daryl Nelson
Okay, there.
will move up and retain his position.
So Daryl Nelson will
The
be
22 of Brad Martin
outside
down there
pole.
at the bottom of row number 2. One
And
lap
getting
to
the
go
signal.
until we go green. Back to
We're going to be
double
going
file.
green next time by. Okay, so it is going to be Brittany Scott, your outside pole sitter in car number
The booth
18.
moving Daryl Nelson
Making the long
back
journey
now.
from the coastal city of Gold Beach.
Lights out. We will go green once
See if
again
Scott
once they
can
come
get
back
to the
out
outside
turn
of
number
Sauer.
4. Sauer will bring him to the flag.
Lights are out, so we are expecting the green flag to come out. Yes, it
Green
will.
flag
Dylan
back in the
Sauer,
air for the Hornets. Sauer brings him to
who won
flag.
the heat
Brad
race
Martin
at the
right
very
on his
first
bumper
race of the
into turn
night,
number 1 we go.
is looking to close things out here in the final race of the
You see
evening
some of
in
the
car
brake
number
lights
7D.
flashing on some of
Bradley
these cars.
Martin
That's a
is
fun little
second.
feature that they have. The 18
It's
car
Brittany
of
Scott.
from Gold Beach
Scored in
up to
third. Oh my,
place.
Dylan
Look
Sauer
at our leader, Sauer
taking a
bouncing
little
back
bit of an
in and out
off-road
of the
route.
tires down on the bottom
I
of
think
the
he even went
track.
inside of some of the tires.
Should be a
He
fun
leads
little
lap
race
number
for
1
first place that we have
regardless.
here between Sauer and Martin. There's 9 laps to go here.
I'm not sure how much of a hit one of these
Trichler and
Hornets could
Scott
take by some of those infield tires.
duking it out
They're
for
about
third
halfway
place.
exposed
Daryl Nelson
out of the
no
ground,
longer on the track.
but I'm sure it can cause quite a bit of calamity. Dylan Sauer leads, Brad Martin is second, Brittany Scott third, and fourth is Bree Trichler.
All over him, though.
It's really a two-car race now, two-car breakaway, you could say. Dylan Sauer and Brad Martin running 1 and 2. Martin trying to keep that
They're just
gap
glued
to
all the
an
way to the
absolute
bottom
bare
of that
minimum
racetrack.
as
Such a
possible.
different race than we just saw in the modified race. These cars are more about keeping up momentum instead of turning
The
sideways
22
like
of
you see
Martin
modifieds do. These
trying to
cars are a lot
overtake
more about
Sauer.
staying straight and keeping the momentum all the way through the corner, trying not to scrub any speed off. Here comes Martin to the outside of Sauer now. Going through the center of the
Martin
turn,
in the
bouncing all
22,
over the
not
place.
quite able to get the necessary run around Dylan Sauer.
Brad Martin getting a little bit experimental.
This
trying
one
to
is
find whatever
scheduled
line he
for
can
10 as
to get
Dylan
by
Sauer in car
but
number
Sauer is
7D
glued all the
continues
way
to
the
just operate
inside
on the
of that
bottom of the track. The 22 of
Martin's
Bradley
gonna do it,
Martin
you'd have to think it's
searching
gonna have to be on the
elsewhere, kicks it
outside.
sideways,
There he goes
digging
on
like
the
Dale in the
outside. Martin
22.
now making it a
Trying to make it side by
race
side,
for the
close
Hornets.
quarter
He's all
action.
the
I don't
way
know if you
nearly
could
up against
slip a
the wall.
credit card between Brad Martin's right side and the back straightaway wall. And now Martin trying to build some momentum up, but Dylan Sauer leads. Sauer on the bottom, Martin again up top. Martin diamonding off the corner. Martin, the position in favor of him, and that position is first place.
Comes out of turn number 4 and will officially move
And it
into
is going to
first place
be
position on the
Brad
leaderboard.
Martin able to beat out Dylan Sauer.
Brittany Scott still holding down that third place position. Trichler in the 17.
Sauer
going
trying to
into turn
reclaim
number 2
first.
now.
Brittany Scott
But
is
the
third.
race
Fourth
for the
is
lead
Bree
right now.
Trichler.
Brad Martin now jumping down to that
Now can
inside
Martin
lane.
take off from the
Now
7D
playing
of Sauer?
defense.
Sauer, he's
But
going to
he
hit
looks
one
at
of
such
the
a huge
infield
run
tires,
coming out
but
of
it's not
turns
going to slow him down.
1 and 2, it may be hard for
Sauer trying to do
complete
his
that
very
pass
best
and
to
get all the
draw
way around
beside
him.
Bradley Martin to make it side
He's
by
now
side. And
moving
oh
down to the
my,
inside in turn
Sauer
3 and
again
4,
through
which
the
we haven't
infield.
seen for most of
And
this race. White flag
hit
in
about
the air
1,
for
2,
Brad
maybe
Martin in
3
that 22
infield
car.
tires. Last lap of action here is, oh my,
Into the
Sauer
clean race from here
is going to
on out.
excavate a
Sauer's still
tire
on his
from
bumper,
turn
really
number
still
1,
all
and
the
it
way
just
down into
pops
turn 3.
out.
We're gonna find out.
Nonetheless,
The last 2 turns
none of this
of the
damage
night.
slowing down
Brad
Sauer,
Martin
but
comes
Bradley
around
Martin
to take
is
the
going to
final
win
checkered
it.
flag here at the Southern
Dylan
Oregon Speedway
Sauer
on
finishes
Saturday
second.
night. Sauer rolls off
Brittany
in
Scott
second
will be
place.
third. And
Brittany
fourth
Scott
is going to be
comes
the
around
7
to
of
take
Bree
it third,
Trichler
and
for your
Bree
lead lap
Trichler will
finishing
finish
order.
in fourth.
And holy Toledo, Dylan Sauer. We'll see if we can get a picture of it in turn number 1. He hits the infield tire, and it went flying up in the air.
Give it up for him as he comes down the front straightaway. Brad
Might have
Martin,
damaged the
tonight's
undercarriage of
Hornet
the
main event
7D,
winner.
but he finishes second. But Brad Martin out of Dexter, a job well done in car number 22. He wins it tonight
Don't forget one
for
more trophy
your Hornets.
presentation, folks, but thank you so much for being out here. If you had too much, don't drive home. We will see you guys in a couple weeks. Thank you so much for a really
And with that, race fans, that is going to conclude our broadcast here on Dirt Oval TV, IMC.TV, and Speed Sport TV. We hope you enjoyed it. A fun-filled night of racing here at Southern Oregon Speedway for the Roger Hodenshield Tribute. We want to send a friendly reminder, IMC.TV, tomorrow night you'll be able to find action from Raceway Park in Jefferson, South Dakota, Benton County Speedway in Benton, Iowa, Iowa's Dubuque Fairgrounds Speedway, Buffalo River Speedway in Glendon, Minnesota, Nodak Speedway in Minot, North Dakota for the last leg of the Tougher Than Dirt Tour, and Estevan Motor Speedway in Saskatchewan. And you can start your race week up on Wednesday night at Buena Vista Raceway in Alta, Iowa. Going to go downstairs with our final interview of the night.
And it's in cash, brother. There you go.
Thank you. I want to thank my dad and making the haul with me, man. We drove almost 4 hours to get here, so well worth it.
We appreciate it big time. Great show. You guys put on 10 good laps. And are you going to be back?
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, hey, we're going to get some pictures. Thanks again. Congratulations. Let's give it for Brad Martin.
And everybody that tuned in, we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. For each and every one of you, have a great rest of your weekend, safe rest of your night. And we'll see you next Friday night on Dirt Oval TV at Cottage Grove Speedway for the first of 2 nights of action for the doubleheader. Good night, everybody.